Good afternoon. How's everybody doing? Y'all, I am so sorry for the multiple time changes. It's all completely my fault. I scheduled it for 12:30. I was texting, I was doing multiple other things. So I scheduled it for 12:30. I was scrolling through the queue, and I saw that Headstones and Headlines, Miss Amy, had a live schedule for 12:30. And I was like, oh, damn, is that today? So I texted her. I said, girl, is that for today at 12:30? I'm so sorry. I'll change mine. Because, I mean, besides the fact that she's my friend and, you know, top mod along with Crazy Nurse, her mod in the trenches. No. You know, I'm just polite, and I felt badly because I know we have a lot of, and listen, I'm not the glarer. I'm not going to tell well, if this was a Venn diagram, hold one moment, please. So if this was a Venn diagram, it would look a little something like this. So we've got, oh God, I don't have my glasses on. Well, one of us, I think that's Emmy. So we've got Headstones and Headlines, Crimes and Fashion, and then we share. Oh, I'm very bad at doing this opposite situation. These are subs that we share. And unlike the glarer, I'm not going to tell you guys, get fucked. Like, unsub, please. No. So, you know, that's just the polite person in me. I try and be, you know, considerate, etc. Listen, I know that's a very difficult concept to grasp for, well, more than you would think. And kids. Oh, Betty, girl, by the way, My husband said to tell you, thank you so much for all the money you're going to save him over these next few days where I won't be internet shopping or real world shopping. Why is that? Well, that's because a little bird dropped, oh, I do believe it's about six different multi-page documents in my inbox. Yeah, Betty's responded. Oh my God, let me just say, I can't wait to get into it. All I've seen are the titles of the documents. I know if it was me and the opposing party asked for a telephonic hearing. Get fucked, bitch. Sit your nasty ass in your car and listen. The bitch will drive all over the continental United States in pursuit of a super chat. So, bitch, get your fat ass in your car and drive yourself on up to Illinois and let's get this party started. And let's not forget who started this party, who got the invitation list rolling. Yep, that's very much the case. However, that being said, just because that's what I would tell my lawyer to do, I would imagine it'll probably go a little something like this. Yes, client, Queen Bee, I know she is a hateful, horrible, wretched bitch. Yes, I do understand that. I understand that this is just her attempt to silence those who criticize her. And don't worry, we're going to very much demand that she appear in person, but we're going to make it count because we don't want to pull that out of the toolbox too early in the proceedings here because, the judge, because let's face it, now we're talking about real legal professionals who have submerged themselves in the law. And as such, judges don't like it very much when right out of the gate, there is, when it's so contentious so early on. Okay. So, and I am certainly, this is just my lay person, someone who does have a bit of legal education and experience. I would be shocked if her attorney, because you don't ever want to appear to the judge that you're acting in bad faith. So for depositions, that's a whole nother matter. But when it is really something more, not just, what's the word, routine type of filings and whatnot, I'd really be shocked if her attorney said right out of the gate, oh, hell no, in person, bitch. I don't think he will. That's not because Betty is not a horrible, wretched bitch that doesn't deserve every bit of that. In my opinion, she absolutely does. But it's the fact that unlike Betty, everybody else in this proceeding, aside from Queen Bee, but everyone else in this proceeding here and who's going to be involved in it, at least from the legal part of it, as in the professionals, well, they actually really do know the law and they know how things are supposed to go, because they know that even though it is an adversarial system, well, this is the part Betty won't get. It is very much based on mutual respect, and everything is governed by procedure, statutes, code. This would be governed by the rules of civil procedure in Illinois. I was very interested, and I have not even opened not one of these documents, and I am absolutely going to say hello to everyone in just a moment. I'm just letting the kids file into class, and then I'm going to say hi to everybody. What the hell was I just saying? Procedures, we're governed by procedures. Oh, there was something else I wanted to add to that. Oh, yes. I have not opened any of the documents. I've just seen the titles of the 6 attachments that were sent to me in an email. Thank you, little bird. I do so appreciate that. And my goodness, I was really interested to see that Betty has filed something called, I believe it was something along the lines of objection to the, do they call it, is it a respondent there? In some places it's plaintiff defendant, some places it's petitioner respondent. It is, I had always thought that anything civil was petitioner respondent. I do believe in this jurisdiction, they refer to it as plaintiff defendant. Whatever the case may be there. I was quite surprised to see that Betty has an objection and wants that quashed, I guess. Bitch, get your crayons out. And, well, the old saying, I can explain it to you. I can't understand it for you. Betty, that pile of shit you filed, it was improper in its form and on its face. It apparently did not comply with the rules of procedure. So why the hell do you think it would get quashed, thrown out? Wow. Sounds to me like that's a Hail Mary, kind of like, well, I'm an idiot and I don't know what else to say. So I'm just going to say, throw it out. Oh, Tim, excellent point, sir. I did see that one of the other attachments was, now explain this to me. Y'all know I'm a big fan of irony. The irony of a woman who is one of the more uncivilized people I've ever had the misfortune of encountering, either online or in the real world, who thinks nothing of going and making an absolute, just utter buffoon, an ass clown out of herself with her vile behavior, just making a mockery of the entire justice system, of civility, of manners in general, who will travel this country to be a thorn in the side of people that, for whatever reason, in her fucking bleach rotted head, she's taken a notion that you're guilty. You have something to hide. I want it done now. You know, like your average 6-year-old. When it's always when mom's on the phone, that's when they're, mom, can I blah, blah, blah. That's what she is. But seems to think she should be granted some type of protective order against a woman she's never met, who's never issued one. She's punked her. She's talked about the same things we've all talked about, which is what a fucking idiot you are. Yet Betty thinks that she should be entitled to some type of protective order against a woman who's never threatened her or done anything of the sort, who, let's not forget, lives quite a distance from Florida. And the idiot files it in civil court. Okay. All right. So I see we've got quite a few kids into class. So I'm going to travel back up to the beginning. You start at the very beginning, a very good place to start. Oh, yes. Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens. Snowflakes that stay on my nose and my mittens. White paper packages all tied up with string. These are a few of my favorite things. When the dog bites, brr, that would be Betty. When the bee stings, oh, look at that. Oh, and yes, this bee has stung her. And damn, I hope that kind of like when they're trying to remove a beehive, you know how somebody will come around in that beekeeper's outfit and they have like a thing where they quite literally smoke them out. Ooh, Betty, I think you're well on your way to being smoked out, girl. Oh, I hope you get smoked right on out of this whole internet. Although, you know, that probably isn't going to happen. But I will settle for, how about just YouTube? Would that work? Please and thank you. Okay. Do UK know? Do UK know? I don't, welcome. I think that's a new name. I'm sorry if I said that wrong. Crazy nurse in the house. Hey, Daz Larson, how are ya? Hi, Julie. Literally Davis fam, how you doing? Becca, president accounted for. Hey, Mama Bear, how you doing? Sorry, Julie, oh God, the time, I hate to do that. It was totally my fault. I changed mine before Emmy changed hers, before she knew I changed mine. Then I went back to it was a cluster, but here we are. So I apologize, y'all. I try not to do that. Hey, SoFlo, how you doing, girl? A Mac, that's a new name. Welcome. For any of the new kids in class, let me just kind of explain how it goes here. Much as I try to, we look at it like this, okay? I'm old. I forget shit. I'm not nearly as good at looking at the chat while I talk as I should be. I'm going to work on that. But this is kind of how it goes here. I like to liken a live stream here to a road trip on the interstate. And, you know, we start off on the interstate heading, let's just say due north. We're heading due north on the interstate. And, you know, if you've ever traveled with little kids or just multiple people in the car, well, you know, usually much sooner than it should happen. Well, somebody wants to go to the bathroom. Somebody wants something to eat. I want to go to Starbucks. After I've gone to Starbucks, you know, I need to quite naturally go to the bathroom again. I get off the interstate. Maybe at least once during the trip, I take the wrong ramp and end up, instead of going north, I go south, and then I need to, you know, make a turnaround, get back on the interstate. By that time, somebody else in the car wants something to eat, and on it goes. So sometimes it takes me a little while to get where I've told you the destination is, but we always somehow get there. Hopefully, you know, just keep your hands and feet in the ride at all times and remain seated until the ride comes to a full stop. Okay. Hi, Nonsense. How you doing? You know, it's becoming a pattern with you and I. You just don't know it. You and I hang out on Sundays while I work because I love to find somebody that I can listen to. Just, I don't want to have to hit stop. None of that. And I need it to be somebody that ideally someone like you that I very much enjoy. And that is not, see, I can't listen to certain people when I'm working. And I just need somebody to make the time be a little more pleasant. I can't listen to people that will cause me to, if I have to start screaming at the phone or, you know, the screen or the person talking, then crossed off the list. So yes, Nonsense, you and I have been spending Sundays together. So thank you. I appreciate that. Hey, Fairy Dust, how you doing? Niecy B, good afternoon. Hey, Bee's Knees, how are you? TT the Good Tiffany, good afternoon. Fit and Curvy, how the hell are ya? Hell and High Water. Oh, you're at the doctor's office? Well, I'm glad to entertain you. Who was entertaining me the other day at the doctor's office? Oh, Queen Bee was live, and I was waiting for the doctor, and I had managed to do maybe 3 chats, and in came the doctor, and I had to very rudely, just leave the building without even saying goodbye. Oh, headstones, Venn diagrams. That's about the only thing I remember from, would that have been geometry or algebra? I think geometry. Yeah, that's about all I remember and or understood from. Believe it or not, accounting was also not my specialty, but I managed to get through it. Hello, Deanna. How are you? Jenny D. Hello, Elaine. Nice to see you. Bodie Blue. Not Bodie. Is that's a new name, I think. Or maybe you've been here. Maybe you've been here once or twice in the past, a while ago. Welcome, regardless, whatever the case may be. Oh, Mama Bear. Okay, so oh God, I hope your dad's doing good. I'll tell you what, he will probably feel like he's got a new lease on life. My father as well had either triple or quadruple bypass, and his was decades ago. I'm talking back in the day when whoop, you got a zipper, just from stem to stern, and he's been great for, I'm trying to think, it's been at least 2 decades, probably more like 25 years ago. So I'm glad he's doing well. And Mama Bear, much like you, I have not been live since Emmy, whenever me and you and Bash went live. Excuse me. That was the last that I have done any content. I have been listening, but y'all probably, as usual, know more than me. Hey, Bash, there you are. How you doing, girl? Did Emmy tell you about my proposal? What I want to do? Hopefully we can talk about that. Hopefully we can make a little announcement about that. No pressure or anything. Hi, Blank Slate. How you doing? Nice to see you. We're halfway there. Hey, Beer Can, how you doing? Queen Bella. Virgo Away. I love that name. Oh, I based on your comment, I guess I'm to the portion in the chat, something about Betty. Because your comment says, I would hope not. She started this. Someone tells me that must be about Betty. Betty. Hey, Stella Bella. Nice to see you. It's me, Amberly. Welcome. Stella, your internet is acting up today. Tell you what, I'm pretty lucky. My internet almost, the only time my internet ever goes out or gets janky is when a transformer blows. That I'm not so lucky with. That I lose power way more than anyone should. Twinkles. Am I cutting in and out? I just saw that. I hope not. I'm halfway to the bottom. Emmy, if my sound is bad, can you text me? Oh, hell, I forgot my watch, you guys. Damn it. Do you know how many times in the last 2 hours, I've been doing something and remember my watch was on the charger and was like, watch, go get your watch. And every time I remember, I'm right in the middle of something and yep, don't have the watch. Hey, Cashmere, how you doing? Hi, Kara. Hey, Glory. Oh, you like these? Cashmere, what kind are these? I think these are static nails. I used to only buy my nails from Static, but I tell you what, is it TJ Maxx? Yes, certain TJ Maxxes, not all of them. Certain TJ Maxxes, not only do they have the static nails for a fraction of what they cost on their site, a lot of those nails at TJ Maxx are really good. Now, the glue is not all created equal, but those nails, I mean, you can get some gorgeous nails for, I'm telling you, I think I've seen some for as cheap as $4.99. And I'm actually considering, I still haven't bought anything on TeeMu yet, despite having about 497 items in my cart. But I think something I'm definitely going to buy from them are these nails, because my God, you can get, they are literally pennies per nail. So I think I'm going to try. And the thing is, this is like, who cares if they suck? They will have been dirt cheap. And I'm sure some of them will be quite fine. Hey, B10. Oh, yes, she's up to all her old tricks. Ange Carter, how you doing? Oh, Queen Bella. Whew. Well, welcome back. Boy, you know, this place is always a damn, to say it's a shit show doesn't quite cover it. It's a shit show that's been thrown in a ninja blender. That's what it is. Phoenix. Hello. I think that's a new name. Welcome. And if not, well, welcome back. Stacy runs with scissors. Striker force for you. Turtle. Hi, Turtle. Queen Bella. Yes, it's she does just live a plane flight away, or a broom ride away in her case. And yes, it would need to be like a push broom, because you know, Betty looks like she's been eating her feelings. Oh, Stella, that's a joke. It'll never happen. Never. Are we shocked that Betty's not exactly playing fair? Oh, here's a new name. Oh my God, I love this. Death Griffs. Boy, that is straight to the point. Which I personally, I appreciate that. You know what? I just saw the email with the 6 attachments and the titles of said documents. I did not have time to even click on the first one to see what kind of bullshit is contained within, but I'm going to. Oh, you're correct, Amberly. She absolutely did tell Queen's lawyer, did not contact me outside of court. The judge is going to have to get out his crayons and draw her a picture for it. You know, gosh, it's so interesting that one who is so skilled in the law seemingly has no effing clue how procedure works. And it's all there for anybody to see. She doesn't even have to buy a book. like her Black Law Dictionary. No, it's all in a little handy dandy online. Of course, just because it's there doesn't mean you have a clue how to. Well, I guess she could read it, interpreting it. Oh, that's a whole nother matter. Yeah, she's in way over her bleached, ravaged skull and brain, apparently. Oh, what happened? Oh, Niecy B girl, I'm right there with you. I say all the time, with not being able to stand the sound of that wretched bitch's voice, I just can't. I don't. God bless all of the clip channels who, and even like Emmy, she's not a clip channel. And Bash, I would not ever just call a clip channel. I truly, I do not know how you all spend so much time listening to her, because she really does. She's one of those people who, she's just so miserable, just a wretched, angry, hateful, vindictive, spiteful, yeah, all the words, bitch. And she does. I don't even have to see her. In fact, funny enough, when I do, if I have to listen to her, I kind of like to see her if I've got to, because at least that gives me something to laugh at and some type of entertainment value. Because let's face it, she brings nothing to the table. It's like, Benny, here's a newsflash. When this many people hate your guts, they're not all wrong. And when I say hate, I don't mean that literally. Oh, AMAC. Oh, goodness. She is suing Queen Bee, and it started with Heels in the Air's name on the lawsuit. I believe it is still there. But supposedly she is going to be removed because that court has no jurisdiction over Heels in the Air and never did. Most people believe it was a tactic to get Heels in the Air to disclose her identity. However, I would suggest, oh my gosh, there's all kinds of great channels that you can go to get caught up. Headstones and Headlines in the chat. Bash the Tragedy Pimps in the chat. There's, oh my goodness, there's so many good ones. There's Cheesy Wheezy. There's Couch Clips. There's Tragedy Pimps Exposed. There's so many clip channels that you can get the whole rundown in a condensed version. But that's the brief 411 on that. Hey, Sinner. Oh, yes, I agree. She needs a protective order against her thought process. Yo, yes. Ooh, I'm with you on that. I See You Drool. Oh, God, I love that name, too. I'll tell you what, there are some really smart people in this community. Not in Betty's side of the subdivision, but there are some very, very bright people around here. Been dreaming. Nice to see you. It's funny, been dreaming. I've heard, my goodness, it's nice to meet you. I don't think I've ever seen you here before, but I have been listening to several different channels and the events over the last several days, and I keep hearing your name. It's funny that you're here because I've heard a lot of your name the last few days. Hey, Peggy. Oh, Peggy, I would agree. Betty needs more time because she's too busy being a horrible person. Yes. Nonsense. I do believe The bill of particulars, that is Queen Bee's request from her attorney for the original suit. And then I'm not sure what else is in regards to the counter complaint. Well, Elaine, I'm well, goodness, if you're already enjoying it, this is just a preview before the main event. You are going to be positively giddy when you leave here. Hey, Still in Leather, how you doing? LCT4, welcome. That's a new name, I do believe. Oh, a dismissal of the countersuit. That is one of of course, because, Betty's the only one who could have possibly had, someone do something to her. It, much like everything in her life, it's only about Betty. Like, Betty, I don't know why she cannot see the utter absurdity of pretty much everything she does. Like, that big mouth slob wearing a shirt that says silence is an answer while being known for terrorizing neighborhoods with a bullhorn. If I thought she was brighter, I would say that she's just, much like myself, a fan of irony. I don't think she could tell you, she couldn't define irony, and I don't think she could give you an example, even though it seems like much of her life is just one ironic event after another. But, Betty's not the brightest crayon in the box. Jane says, hello, I think that's a new name. Welcome. If not, welcome back. Oh, B. Tim, she did not. Are you telling me that idiot doesn't know which party she is in each document? I truly, I can't wait to get into it. And here's what I'm going to say about doing commentary on those documents. I am going to reach out to Queen Bee and see if she's cool with it. I mean, obviously, I understand the fact that it's out there for public consumption. However, that's just me being respectful. If she would rather, listen, some people are going to talk about it and they're not going to care what her feelings are on that. I do care, so I am going to ask. And if she gives me the green light, we're going to talk about it. And obviously that would go with the caveat that I'm not Betty. I don't roll like Betty. I would never opine on anything and say it's fact, it's this, that, the other. If I didn't know for sure, I don't play lawyer, but I do know enough that I would hope that she knows that I would never say anything if I had even the remotest thought that it could be damaging to her case. So we'll just see where that goes. Oh, Emmy, maybe at the end of this. Hey, True Texan, how are you? Emmy, maybe at the end of this, you can just give me a little brief rundown of Betty's. Oh, actually, you're going to do that at 3:30, right? I think Emmy's going to go live at 3:30 and discuss Betty wrote an article. Oh, dear God. What is it for? Highlights magazine? Betty, the little kids in the pediatrician's office, they don't want to read about politics. And is it in crayon? That's the only other thing I need to know. Betty writing an article, honest to God. I wouldn't let Betty write the fucking neighborhood association newsletter. What? I'm sorry. To me, it says everything you need to know about the publication if they took an article authored by Bullscorn. Hey, blank screen. We're going to, as soon as I'm done saying hello, and it looks like I'm almost to the end of the comment section, Glare, I'm going to discuss Glare and why I unsubbed. Runs with scissors. I did say hello, didn't I? I'm almost positive I did. But in the event that I didn't, hello. Oh, Dolly. You hate sunscreen. No, it's fake. This is all fake. But I do hate sunscreen because it's got zinc in it and it's hot as hell in Florida. And when you sweat, it like sunscreen, it goes in your eyes. Oh, very bad situation. But no, but you're right. I do hate sunscreen, but all of my tan is entirely fake. Okay. Been dreaming, I would agree. Wine, crime, and mayhem. Welcome. Shopaholic. Oh, you know, you and I think could be kindred spirits. Oh. True crime dime. That's another name I've heard bandied about these parts quite a bit lately. Oh God, Mama Bear. Yes, that was my dad had the exact same thing, the Widowmaker. But in my dad's case, they wouldn't even let him leave the hospital. He went in for what he thought was routine tests because he'd been having shortness of breath, everything that goes along with it. And they did the I forget what they do. Whatever the imaging is that they do for that, I can still remember the phone call. My mom called and said, your dad went in for tests. He's tomorrow he will be having open heart surgery. The main artery to his heart it was over 90% blocked. And they didn't even let him leave. They said, we're admitting you and you'll have surgery tomorrow. And he did. And he's been, it was a game changer for him. So I will keep a good thought for your father. And I'll tell you what, I would be shocked if he did not feel like a new person. Oh, okay, Emmy. Okay, we're almost to the end. Hey, Remy, how you doing? Oh, listen, self-tanners come a long way from back in the day. But I used, this is an actual machine. I've told the story a few times. And look, it's not perfect. Obviously, you can see a massive screw up on the palm. It is what it is. I'd rather have that than look like Casper. I have a pop-up tent that goes on the back porch, and it's basically, my husband said it's the same damn thing you paint a car with. And my husband said, if I can paint a car, I can paint you. And he does. So, but it's come a long way. If you want a recommendation, just leave me a comment and I'll give you my top picks from cheap to overpriced to most effective and everything in between. Hey, Grain, how you doing? Okay. All right. I keep saying we're almost. Everybody likes TeeMu. I haven't bought anything yet, but I've lost several hours of my life. Oh, thanks, nonsense. Still standing? What does your husband do? You seem rich. Oh God. I think I actually just snorted. Well, just as much as I absolutely love my husband dearly to the moon and back, and how very proud I am of him, I'm not. There's just some things that I can't I can't disclose here on these YouTube streets. I know y'all are used to people putting all their business out there. I'm old, so I come from a time before the internet. So I still very much value my privacy, and I'm not rich. Just remember, it's all relative. But thanks for asking, I think. Hey hippie, how you doing? Hi Audacity. Nikki O'Shea. How you doing? Nanya Beeswax, Alaska. Hey Lurker. Well, damn, you know what? If you find out where to get a damn deal on Botox, you damn. Hold on 1 minute. I can't tell you where to get a deal on Botox. However, my God, I'm glad you said that. Hold, please. I just need to look something up in my calendar. Let me tell you the deal on Botox. Botox is kind of like Louis Vuitton and Chanel. It rarely, if ever, goes on sale. But I can give you some helpful hints to make sure that you get the most bang out of the most bang per syringe out of your Botox buck. Don't ever go to somebody that wants to charge by the area. No. You go by the unit price. And it depends on where you live. Botox can go from anywhere. If you go to a cheesy strip mall Medi Spa, which I would not recommend, sometimes you can get it as low as $8 a unit. And guess what? Botox also has a generic equivalent now because it came off of patent. That's called, why can't I think of the name of it? It'll come to me. Same exact thing, just a different name. Some people think it works better. I'm one of them. I think it lasts longer and works more quickly when using the generic. So there's that. $8 on the very low end, and it can go up to $12. It just depends on where you live, because yes, it does cost more in more affluent areas. So no, I cannot tell you where to get a deal on Botox, but guess what tomorrow is for anybody who may be interested? It is buy one, get one, Juvederm Day, the first ever. Y'all, has it been 3, 4? I can't remember how many years ago it was. The first ever, Allergan did their very first ever Botox, buy one, get one gift certificate event. It was right in time for the holidays. So you bought $100 Botox gift certificate and you got another one for free. When I tell you it broke the internet and it crashed their servers immediately. It was a disaster. They've dialed it in. They've got it on lock. So tomorrow is the first ever Juvederm Day. Same deal. I think you buy, although I think I don't know if it's 100 or 75 gift card. It's buy one, get one. It happens once a year. So if you're interested, it starts at, it's Pacific time, and it's 9 o'clock Pacific time. Eastern Standard Time, 6 a.m. Yes, I do have my alarm set, and yes, I will be purchasing. And they work on like, you're in a queue and you get a number. You don't have to sit and wait, and you can, if you've got multiple. Oh, here's the only other thing I'm going to tell you. If you're interested and you do not already have, it's now called Ally. It used to be Brilliant Distinctions was their reward program. It is now called Ally, A-L-L-E. If you're interested, you need to make yourself an account tonight. It's very easy. You don't have to pay anything. You just make an account like you do everywhere else. That has to be in place before tomorrow. Don't try to do it tomorrow. You won't be able to. So there you go. Look at what I did for you. So, maybe ask Molly. She might be able to tell you where to get some discount Botox. I don't use discount Botox. I use the real McCoy. Not from a strip mall. Nope. I go to a plastic surgeon. I don't, it's like you messing around with your face. That's not where you want to pinch pennies. But thank you so much for asking. And I am still trying to think of the name of the generic Botox. All right, kids, I am so sorry that it has taken me this long to get on. Well, thank you, True Text, and I appreciate that. F you too. Oh, I love that name. Welcome. I know that's a new one. Blue Petunias, that's a new name too. Oh, well, welcome and thank you so much. Oh, you used to call yourself Zsa Zsa? Well, it is not a coincidence that on Green Acres, Zsa Zsa's name was Lisa. Okay, I think I'm at the end. If there's anyone, it just refreshed. Y'all, I'm so sorry if there's anyone. Oh, Neon Moon. Oh, I love that name. Welcome. That's a new name too. Hey, Amethyst Moon. Okay. I'm so sorry, you guys, that I've been taking forever. Denise, welcome. Nice to see you. All right. Anyone that I forgot or that, came in the interim here when my page refreshed, I apologize. And I promise I will say hello at some point. Okay. Y'all, I have to find a way to get more efficient at doing this. Okay. All right. So off to the Rapper. Is Emmy, is Rapper from your channel? Hi, Rapper. Welcome. Hey, Kathy P. How are you? KB, welcome. Okay. On with the show. This is it. Okay. The Glarer. Y'all, I have the video from Dietz. I don't think that I need to. I don't think I have to play it because I'm pretty sure everybody's seen it. So if there's anyone who hasn't seen it, please go check out Dietz on the Street. I'm sure it's been clipped by a million people. Here's the lowdown. So Glarer goes on to Morbid's channel. Morbid, formerly known as Misery. He apparently has quite a bit to drink. He says that is irrelevant. He would have said and done the same thing whether he was drinking or not. I tend to believe him. So he and Nanya had an exchange. She did not, unlike many of the women in the community, she was totally fine with the exchange they had. You know what? I think maybe we will. We're going to play a little bit of it. But before we do that, let me just give my thoughts on why I unsubbed from him. Just like, where is Deets? Oh, there it is. Oh, and I actually have it queued up to the exact moment he comes on screen. Okay, so here's why I unsubbed from him. And it is not because of a word that starts with a C and ends with a T. It is not with the see you next Tuesday word. I much like I heard someone else say, and I can't remember who it was. They said that they save the see you next Tuesday word for the real special people. And I do too. I'm not going to sit up here and say that I've never said that word. In fact, I do believe I said it here on YouTube, and I said it. I didn't say the see you next Tuesday, because that's typically what I do, because I really do. I feel like that word, much like the P word, that is a word that, well, it's just a little, most people, okay? I know there are people who will tell you, and it's true, that word goes far back in history. I will tell you that in the UK, it does not have the connotation there that it does here. You know what word in the UK is our see you next Tuesday? Fanny. If you say Fanny to someone, hey Nick, how you doing? That will be the equivalent of calling them a see you next Tuesday. So, hi Grandma Sherry, how are you? And anyone else who came in. Brittany, how are you doing? That's another name I've heard quite a bit over the last few days. I don't know, it might be a different Brittany, but so, and I can tell you, I said that word. It was I either said it about Prayer Garden of America, YouTube's most illiterate viper, or bitch hole Betty. I tend to think it was Prayer Garden. So that is also a word that I use very sparingly. Because no matter what, whether you think that it's nothing, it's just another cuss word, or you are like, oh my God, verboten, never, ever, ever, no matter what. And listen, I get it. And I don't take issue with anyone's, whatever your personal thoughts are on that word. So he has this exchange with Nanya. It seemed like he was quite intoxicated. He called her, see you next Tuesday. He told her to go after her mother, etc., etc. Just very juvenile, shitty things to say. To me, wildly disproportionate to what was being said. And listen, I understand, unlike a lot of people, the only thing I know of morbid is before these last few videos of last week, the only time that I had ever heard morbid prior to that was, I do believe it might have been one of his very first returns to YouTube. And I would say maybe, I think it was a couple months ago, and it was in the glares. And it was hilarious because they were talking about, one of the things that he was doing was talking about some of the YouTubers. One of them, Dr. Latina. Okay, so if that rings a bell for anybody, and he went over her, were they Yelp? He went over some of her star ratings on various review platforms. It was funny. So if anybody can kind of date my first interaction, or I take that back, there was no interaction, but I was in the chat and I was listening, and I thought he was funny as hell. And he does have a nice voice. So that was that. That was the first and only time I've heard him or knew anything about him from any of his now or his prior YouTube names and or channels. Let's just say that one was tame. Now, I only listened for maybe an hour. That very first one where they were reviewing Dr. Latina and some other people. But hey, Stargazer, how are you? And mods, y'all do whatever you need to do in the chat to keep everything copacetic. Let's try and let's stay on topic here. Hi, Jen. So that was literally my only knowledge of morbid. Fast forward to the events and the streams of the last, I guess, couple weeks. Well, ever since Laura came on the panel, and I asked her, why would you put those allegations, or she didn't put the allegations out there, but the stream she did in her car, she said, this is what he was accused. This is why he left YouTube. And I was basing my question on that one time I'd ever heard him on the Glare, and then a few minutes of that stream where he reacted to her in the car. But it has obviously now, more people have started talking about it. And now I obviously have a bigger and better understanding of what Morbid does on his channels. And let me say this, I think he is very fun. I think he can be very funny. I think that it is obvious. He is very smart, okay? I am a big fan of intellect. However, I'm just not somebody who, there comes a point, like, I'm not big on the really raunchy, nasty, outrageous shit that men say when speaking to each other in this kind of a setting. It's not for me. So I just, when it gets to where I'm like, ew, gross, I leave. That's that. So I didn't hear anything firsthand, or at the time when in real time, I didn't hear anything real time of what went down in the conversation between Glare and Nanya. She is a cool cucumber. Okay. I think she was very gracious and graceful in how she reacted then and has reacted ever since to what was said to her. And for me, it wasn't the word, the see you next Tuesday word. And I also very much agree with something Nanya said, which was, and I agree with this in general, no matter what the situation is. We have a tendency on here. This place is very much, this is tribalism. This is what it is. I mean, this has gone on since the very beginnings of man. It's natural. We form groups, whether those are YouTube hoods or the people we associate with in our real life, blah, blah, blah. We have a tendency, not just on here, but it is somewhat amplified on here, of taking on someone else's, something that happens to someone else, and we take that on as our own because we identify with it somehow. So when I hear Nunya say, listen, don't be demanding apologies on my behalf. Don't be, outraged on my behalf, because I'm not. So I don't need you to do that for me. I can very much understand and appreciate that. Oh, Jenny D, Tiger Talks put up a good kind of roundup of the events as they transpired. Tiger Talks is another one. Great channel. And if somebody wants to drop her link, I would appreciate that very much. And I think, listen, we're all guilty of that, because obviously, especially when it's something where it's male, female, words are used. More than the words for me, it was the condescension, the anger. That is what I was like, ugh. And when I said this morning in that video that I don't just hear something take place and then run as fast as I can in my 6-inch heels into my office and push that button and blah, 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 blah. It's not going anywhere, okay? The event, whatever cataclysmic thing has happened, whatever nuclear event of the day, because let's face it, it really is almost like a daily thing on here. I do not speak on something. I need to connect with it in some way. And more than that, I need to feel like I can add something to because everybody and their brother has talked about this, and it's going to continue to. So I thought, you know what? I think I'm going to give from start to finish, and it's not going to take long. I'm going to tell you my reasoning and why I did exactly what he told all us see you next Tuesdays to do. So I think I was subbed to him for quite a while. Now, when I say that I supported him in every way that one does, as a sub and as a fellow creator. And I just want to make it really clear up front that, because I don't want anything that I'm going to say to be, and I'm sure it will be, but I'm putting this out there that I don't want anybody to get the reason I'm going to give my reasons for taking his directive. I don't want anybody trying to spin this around as I thought the glare owed me anything. No, he did not. But I come at things from like everybody else. Most of us, if we're being truthful, we conduct ourselves in our daily lives and here on YouTube based on our upbringing and our life experience. And my experience in meeting all kinds of people from every walk of life for the last 53 years, I feel comfortable saying that I believe for most of us, and obviously there's going to be a little place in the middle, but I think when it comes to someone's upbringing or lack thereof, I believe most people become who they become either because of or in spite of. I mean, obviously there's more things that go into who someone eventually becomes. And you know, the idea is that your whole life you grow and you change and strive to be better. That's the ideal standard of adulting. And it just is. It's my experience that most people, you either take your upbringing and you try and do the same thing if you have children or just your marriage, whatever the case may be, your partner, and you make choices based on how you were raised. Or you say, fuck that. Those bastards like traumatized me. I am going to do everything as far away from how I was raised as possible. I don't want to do that. Nana Tiddler 23. Hi, welcome. Daddy's baby girl. How you doing? LG, welcome. I mean, clearly there are other factors, but I mean, that's just been my experience. You do as was done for you to you, or you say, like that. Or maybe what's more realistic is a little bit of both. So everything I'm about to say is only, listen, number one, it ain't that serious. He's nobody to me. I am nobody to him. None of this has any, in the real world, who gives a shit? Doesn't matter for me or him. But this is something that everyone's talking about. And I haven't heard anybody say what I'm going to say. Doesn't mean it hasn't been said. Doesn't mean a million people aren't thinking it. I just haven't heard it. So I just wanted to be really plain off go that I'm not bitter. I'm not butthurt. Nothing like that. I am going to come at this from my experience, my life experience, and how I try to govern myself in my adult life. That is not to say I've always been, like I said, life, the idea is you're ever evolving and getting better. So that's how I'm going to come at this, as a well-mannered, I very much try to have class. Okay. I'm lucky. Not only was I taught that, I saw that, I lived that. And that's how I try and conduct myself. Now, listen, please do not take what I just said to mean that I haven't said some foul shit on here. Of course I have. And incidentally, I would stand behind most of it. What I never do is leave the confines of YouTube. I have never gone real life on anyone. I've never done anybody dirty. And that I hand to God on my kids. I've never. So I'm not trying to sit up here like I'm a little angel and I'm the prototype you should follow. Hell no. I'm well aware I can be a real bitch. I just do it with bigger words than some people. Listen, everybody's got their style on here. So I am not perfect, far from it. I have done plenty of things wrong, not just on YouTube, but in my life. Let's get real. So I was sub to Glera for quite a while. I would say, trying to remember if I was, yes, because going back in my mind, I used to listen to Critical K. This was way before I ever had a channel. So what I remember the Glera from back then, I think I only knew him from Fighting with K. I didn't know him from when they were Kumbaya. And this is what I knew of him. And I picture in my mind, he looked like he was sitting in a very small, like it could have been a small closet or I don't know, a small area. He had like some kind of up lighting, I believe, directional lighting, maybe a neon light or something. He always wore headphones and he usually had a drink in a rocks glass and he would smoke. And she would call him Swill instead of Will. So that's kind of my, and even that's what I just said to you is really the most recollection I have of him from back as far as I can remember. Peggy, you think it was a closet? I don't mean the one now. I mean the one back. Hey, Cappy, how you doing? Yeah, Cappy, I would agree. I'm about to tell him as much. So that's my earliest recollection of any knowledge of the Glera. Fast forward to I get my own channel. And I'm not sure at what point I was sub to him, if it was, immediately on starting my channel the first time. I tend to think it was pretty early on there. I can absolutely remember this for certain. Burnt Toast, who I've said this before, you guys, and I mean this, and I will always mean this. And this is something that, and I know people say this kind of shit all the time, but you can take it to the bank when I say it. Anybody who has ever gone out of their way and been kind for me and done something to help me they weren't getting anything out of it. They just did it to be kind. Burnt Toast is one. Savage is one. Queen Bee is one. And there's others. And please don't, if I didn't acknowledge someone who has, no matter how big or small, helped me out, I apologize that I'm just old and I don't remember at the moment. I should have maybe thought about that a little more. However, I remember Burnt Toast. Boy, here's the thing. When you get older, I can't remember maybe what I said 2 minutes ago, but I can tell you down to like detail. I can even tell you what I was wearing. Something that happened almost 2 years ago. And that would be, I did a video on a Saturday. Burnt Toast, who I didn't know anything about at the time, she recommended it on her community page. And it said something like, "This is fire." And the only reason it even came to my attention was because at the time, I'm not kidding you when I tell you I probably had I don't know, 300 subs, maybe. I hadn't even gone live yet. I went to pull something up on my YouTube and I saw that my numbers had almost doubled in like an afternoon. And I was like, what the hell? And I kept seeing all these people saying burnt toast sent us. And I remember that Blair left a comment on that video, and it said something about how she doesn't, shout many people out. So if she does, it makes people sit up and take notice. And it was about Betty. So I very much appreciated that. I always have. I always will. I do not forget things like that. And much like, I guess Savage made a post a few weeks ago, said she stepped in it. She made a post where she said something I guess she shouldn't have. And she said as much. And I put in the comment, I said, girl, I don't even know what you did or said. And even if I don't support what you said or did, I support you as the person. So good on you for apologizing. And that is truly me. Okay. That's how I try and conduct myself on here. And it's not always easy to do that. Because there's all these tentacles from everybody's backstories and blah, blah, blah. So somewhere let's just say it was right around that time that I started watching his videos, if I hadn't already seen him. And at some point it clicked and I was like, oh, damn, I recognize this guy. He was the one that looked like he was, sitting in a really small area, always drinking and going back and forth with Critical K. And she was one of those that I hate watched. Like I usually wanted to punch her in the face before it was said and done. Metaphorically, I've never been in a fight in my life. But I always respected that bitch was smart, okay? She wasn't smart the way she handled her lawsuit, but she's not dumb, okay? And I can respect somebody's intellect while thinking they're a bag of shit, okay? So obviously at some point I start, I'm listening to him. And I don't have any prior unpleasant experiences with him. So I came at it from, this dude is well-spoken. I liked that he was, all his shit bags were the same, my list of shit bags. So there was that. And I just thought he spoke like an intelligent person. And I still think he does. I'm not going to take that away from him just because I don't, what's that word they like to say around here? I don't fuck with him. I don't fuck with him anymore. So when I say that I supported him in every single way that you can as a sub and a creator, I did. When I came back this second time, I don't know if because after Burnt Toast shouted me out, he definitely subbed to me, and he would comment here and there on videos, and I would do the same. But, obviously during Quentin Simon, I was disgusted by all of it. And I said, I'm out of here. This shit is gross. These people are gross. I will never do this. I will never get down this way. I will, if this is what people want, you ain't getting it from me. So it was kind of like, what is the point? But obviously I came back, and I have been in up until very recently. So when I say I supported him, so let's say as a sub, this is how I supported him. I went to almost all of his lives unless they were really late at night. And then I'd watch them on the replay because I'm not a night person. In fact, I was laughing. I heard Laura say to Chasing, Tracy Ann, that she said something like she goes to bed at 8:30 every night. And I thought, oh, well, I don't go to sleep at 8:30, but if I wanted to be ridiculed for the rest of my days on YouTube, I'd tell you what time I get in my pajamas. But I don't, so I won't. So I would go to, if I wasn't there in person, which I was for, let's just say at least 50% of them, probably more like 75%. If I was there live, I was in his chat and I participated in the chat. And I'm going to blow my own horn a little bit here. And I'm not doing it because I'm trying to be conceited. I'm just simply trying to bolster the point I'm going to make, which is this. If you've ever been in a chat with me, well, you know, some people are just in the chat and, you know, they're just commenting here and there. When I'm in the chat, I'm dedicated. I use every bit of those 100 characters or 100 words, whatever it is, characters. And, you know, I would like to say that I bring something to the chat, okay? And that being nothing more than a bit of witty repartee. And that does not hurt the channel and the live that's going on. That being said, I also do, because I am a polite person and I do have manners, and I would like to say class. Nobody has to tell me, like, you know, it's not nice to bring up your own channel or talk about other things, other creators that are off topic and have nothing to do with what's being discussed. I mean, some people, it's like they grew up in a damn barn. Like they have no clue of do's and don'ts. I mean, it's really not that complicated. But I only bring it up because you do see people who don't know any better, and they do that. So I feel like if I'm in your chat, especially if I stay in the chat for a long time, I feel like I do bring something to the chat. You know, and I'm sure there's plenty of people that are like, fuck you, you're a bitch. You don't bring anything. I'm cool. Great. But I feel like if I'm there, truthfully, I like to make people laugh. That's what I do. So I really try, like, if I can't bring something, I don't have time to like really give it my all, I just leave. So I was at more than half of the lives. I was very active in the chat and brought something to the chat. I threw him an occasional super chat here and there. And the only, you know, actually it might have only been one, and I can tell you exactly when it was. It was when the verdict came down in the Letitia Stout case, in Gannon's case. And I felt like I had heard him and Chasing, they did a joint live when that was going on, you know, in the beginning of the case. And I heard, you know, he had a very deep connection to that case for his own personal reasons. And I threw him like a $20 super chat at the end and just said, I said something along the lines of, I know that you worked really hard on this case and, you know, hung in there and covered this when I'm sure it was quite difficult to do so. I think he thanked me. I know Cherry definitely did, but I believe he did too. So there was that. When I say that I supported him as a creator, many, many, many times, I would cite him as a source for something that I was talking about. Like, oh, you know, when I was in the glares the other night and I heard blah, blah, blah. And listen, I get it. I'm a minuscule, invisible channel. It's not like me shouting him out was doing anything for him, but it certainly doesn't hurt. I mean, I don't know many people that wouldn't appreciate someone who's quite friendly to you shouting you out. So I did. I'd said many, many complimentary things of him, in as much as I think he's well-spoken and I think he's intelligent. There was something. Oh, another thing I remember that happened just recently, when the whole Zav girl thing, and he did that live stream where he said he felt like the janitor. When I went live, I don't know if it was the next day or the day after that, I said, you know, listen, Glare, I just want you to know you are not alone. I'm in the other building, cleaning right along with you. I'm just wearing much higher heels while I do it. And I really did. I felt like, you know, dude, you're not like, I just wanted to tell him, trust me, you're not alone. And you obviously have a much bigger reach than I do, but I'm right here. I'm doing what I can do. So when I tell you, do you know that he never, not one time, did he ever even say hello to me? Now, I absolutely acknowledge that, you know, he would have a lot of people in his chat and the chat would be going very fast. And obviously, he's trying to get his points across. And please, I don't want anybody to misunderstand what I'm saying and think that, you know, I thought I was so special that he needed to stop everything he was doing and say, oh, Crimes and Fashion is here. Hi, Crimes and Fashion. No. But it was like, apparently, you know what occurred to me this morning when I was thinking about what I was going to say, and, you know, kind of like I try and do things in a chronological order. I mean, I know sometimes I'm banging all over like a ping pong ball, but that's because I'm old. And when I think of it, I got to say it, or it'll poof, leave. This is the point when I knew, God, and listen, I had always heard, we all have, just, oh yeah, he's a narcissist, he's a misogynist, he's a dick, he's an asshole, he's this, he's that. I had always heard all those things. I just always gave him every benefit of every doubt. It used to be, I will say that there were a few occasions where he would highlight one of my chats and put it up on the screen. Or if he didn't do that, there were occasions, few, where he would, you know, maybe read my chat, not out loud, loud. He would read it to himself, but he would answer. He would have a response to my chat out loud. But I'm sorry. Here's the point I knew. No, fuck him. He really is just a dick. I gave him every benefit of the doubt for never even thinking that after months and months and months of supporting him and him clearly thinking that, I mean, obviously he didn't give a shit about having my support. I gave him every benefit of the doubt that, you know, his chat's going fast. He's got a lot of people in here. He's trying to stay on track. Trust me, I don't want anybody to think that I'm saying this because I was butthurt by it or it kept me up at night. It certainly did not. But why would I continue to support someone? So here's what I did. It became apparent after several months that he couldn't even be bothered to speak to me ever. I thought, okay, well, you know what? I still like his content. I like his commentary on the trap cheek pimps. But I certainly don't feel the need to go to his lives and sit in his chat. So that's what I did. I backed off of that. I still listen to him. When I would see him in other chats, I'd say hello. Never. Nothing from A to Z or anything in between. Not a thing. So even then I thought, well, you know, some of those chats were also quite big and, you know, chats moving fast and whatever. When I knew that he was just a douche and it was just cemented in my mind with Queen Bee's panel last week and then this latest thing, and now I'm like, done. But I saw him in, it might have been Headstones and Headlines. It might have been Emmys or it was Bashes. I'm not sure. But I saw him in a chat where there were not 600 people in there. There was probably 200 or so. It was very manageable. Let's just say that. And he was saying hello he was speaking to several other people. So I thought, well, you know, I'll just say hi. And I did. Same thing I always got, which is nothing. So I was like, oh, okay. Noted. Done. But still, I'm just that person. You've got to really like, it's very rare for me to actually go and unsub to somebody. I'm trying to think who before him did I actually take my time to go and unsub? Off the top of my head, I couldn't tell you. So I thought to myself, and this is how I feel. Apparently the glarer, he is what inspired the title of the video this morning. Sorry, there's only so much civility to go around and it ain't your day. And that's fine. Maybe he thinks I'm the biggest bitch in the world. I'm a dumbass. No problem. But let me tell you something. There are a few people that I would not, couldn't even be civilized to on here. I mean, Dolly was here earlier. I said hello. So it was a progression. Hi, Capone. Hey, Kate the Great. So fast forward to Queen Bee's panel the other day. He was already on the panel. Who else was there? I know B. Tim was not there. Oh, Cashmere. Cashmere was there. I came on. Oh, Capone. I'm sorry. Cappy. Cappy was on. Although I don't think Cappy was on the whole time that I was up there. Maybe she was. Of course, when I came up on the panel, why would he say hello to me? I mean, there is 4 of us in the entire. I'm like, God, this dude is an absolute douche. But whatever. I was commenting on, we were talking about the mommy ramblings thing, and you know, he was quite proudly up there saying how he and Morbid will say things nobody else. Like, he thinks that, I guess we should pin a medal on his chest for being like a douchebag. Congratulations. He was really adamant about the whole, like, calling mommy ramblings, let's just say using her son's death kind of in a tragedy pimp kind of way. And of course I was like, well, it is her son. Unlike what a lot of these people are talking about other people's children. That is her son. I said, and I'm sorry. I'll make fun of a lot of things she does. I don't speak on her. Oh, please. Let me make sure she's in my. She's not. Hold on. That was the one where that girl came up at some point and, well, hey, Girl Interrupted. I love that name. That's a new name. Welcome. Allie Sampson. Welcome. Hey, Zen, how are ya? Hey, Sofa King. I saw you sneak in here. Oh, I just saw somebody had added me. True Texan, if I could say that tongue twister without butchering it, I would, but I can't. Hi, Monica. Excuse me. So we have this back and forth. We were all, you know, contributing to this conversation about him and Morbid, and oh, that was the night of the finger in the shorts. Well, I said at some point, he basically just said, look, you know, he and Morbid will say shit that nobody else will say. Okay, well, you know, I don't know if you think that makes you like groundbreaking. No, it just makes you. Never mind. The bottom line was this. He did his, you know, he said what he wanted to say about it. And basically what he said was, if you put your shit on YouTube, you are subject to review. And we all agreed with him. Of course, that's the name of the game. If you can't hack that, then don't put your stuff out here. Now, I am not as familiar with her as many of you all are, but I do know, like, for instance, I know she lost her son. I did not know that she found out about that on a live stream. I am still so blown away by that. I don't even know what to say. I cannot imagine. And what in the name of God is wrong with someone who would do that? You mean to tell me this woman is on a fucking live stream and somebody listening gets this information before she does. I don't know if somebody was listening to a police scanner. I don't know how that happened. It doesn't matter. You are morally depraved and have something deeply wrong with you. If you would delight, and forget about delight, if you would even do it. I wouldn't do that. I would do that to no one under any circumstances. Period. End of story. No one. So to think that someone would have, I guess, found out there was some horrific accident. I don't even know what happened to her son. But the bottom line is, it's like, let me get this straight. Because what he wanted to sell us was, oh, I'm just so groundbreaking and innovative. Me and Morbid will go where nobody else will go. And if you put your shit out here, well, you're subject to review. Yeah, we got the message. But let me get this straight. But he's all anti-tragedy pimp. But he could not or would not make the leap. I listened to his whole dissertation about the night before and the talking mommy ramblings. And what I said was, I agree with you that if you put that out there, whatever you put out here, you are subject to review. But just because I have a lighter in one hand and a gasoline-soaked pile of towels, yes, I have the ability to blow them all up with the flick of the Bic. Does that make it okay? Because what I said was, and stand by, was, I'm sorry, there are some places no one should go. And someone's dead child is very much one of them. So, because she put it on YouTube, which I agree, I would never do it. Never. But I'm not sitting in her shoes. Thank Jesus, I'm not. And as someone who is himself a parent, I fail to see how in the hell could you be cool with something like that? And then, of course, it was, well, nobody's saying that it's a good thing or anybody should do it, but I'll go ahead and make fun of it. What? Come again? I'm sorry. You're exploiting her for content. And I don't know a thing about her. I have no problem busting on how irate she gets with Natasha Cooper or whoever she's fighting with. All that shit, fair game. I have at it. But the shit with her kid? No, that's vile. That's disgusting. And all I was saying to him was, I did tell him that I had laughed my ass off when Morbid, and listen, I only heard a few minutes of that, but I heard Morbid talking about Jimmy, her husband. So I think he plays an instrument, saxophone maybe. And Morbid just was saying this funny little thing about, well, hell yeah, the guy's got to play the blues because look what he's dealing with. I mean, it was funny. That, make fun of that shit all day long. I'm totally fine with that. So when I then said that her kid, no, that I would never do it. Do you have the right to do it? Yes. I don't find that funny. I wouldn't do it. And it was when I said, I don't agree with that or something. And he said to me, well, you just did 5 minutes ago. That's exactly what you said. It was absolutely nothing of the kind, did I say. If I cared enough, I'd go pull it up, but I don't. I know what I said. I know what I would never say. So, but it was very apparent to me on that panel. He was very dismissive. He was very condescending. Was he out of line with me? No, he was not. Was he overtly rude? I wouldn't call it that. I would call it he's very condescending. And dude, let me tell you something. You are far too into yourself than you have cause to be. Okay? Because you're not the only listen, I realize the male creators on here, y'all are like unicorns. But you're not the only like well-spoken, semi-decent looking man on YouTube. Not by a long shot. And apparently, what occurred to me today as I was thinking about, what I wanted to talk about with this was this. I heard him. Well, first I'll tell you what came to me, and that was this. Apparently the glarer, well, it seems that in his mind, there's only this much common decency and manners and respect available to be given to any of the women who, by the way, this kind of is we do wildly outnumber you men. He really does. He behaves as if and conducts himself as if there's, he's only got like 4 manners to use for the whole day on YouTube. And sorry, you don't get any. I just cannot relate to that. I don't. I can't, and I don't. So my mind was already, after that, hey, Glenda. Yes, very arrogant. And I don't get it. I mean, let's just say this, completely unsolicited. I was having a discussion, something totally having nothing to do with him. I was just talking to somebody who's, been here a long time and off of YouTube. This was not on YouTube. And we were just having quite a long chit chat. And, anytime I do get friendly with someone who's, been here for quite a while and knows a lot of the backstories. Well, everybody's like enmeshed, depending on how long you've been here. Everybody knows at least a little bit about everybody. Some people know a lot. And it just so happened in this conversation where he was not the topic of discussion, not at all. But he, kind of snaked in there as one of these tentacles I'm always talking about that go deep and wide. And let's just say somebody filled me in a little bit on him. And these are things that are not nothing of note, nothing major. These aren't even bad things. These are just, some things that she knew that. And I was like, what? Wow. Why is he so fucking arrogant? I don't get it. So there's that. So I was already done. After that panel, I had decided, you know what? I'm really starting to give a little more credence to a lot of the things about him that I have always heard. I'm really not like that. I heard all these things about him, as far as being arrogant, misogynist. I'm not even throwing in one of the pastimes, let's just say, that, many people say could be an issue for him. Because I'm not going there. That's because I believed him when he said it didn't matter whether he'd been drinking the night before the Nunya episode. And I believe him. I really think, I don't believe all of what he said to Dietz or on Dietz's panel, and we are going to listen to a little bit. But, so yeah, after that panel, I was like, I'm done. And when I say that, I mean, I'm just not watching him anymore, period. I would not have ever gone to the trouble of unsubscribing to him. But then when the other night happened, I was like, oh, consider it done. Done, and done. And not only did I unsub from Crimes and Fashion, I unsubbed from my my personal account, not my sock account, but my just regular, my account I had when I was just watching YouTube. So, and something occurred to me and we'll play a little bit of it. But when I heard him say yesterday on Deet's panel, and I do believe it was her live. I'm pretty sure it was her live from yesterday. I don't think I was listening to it on the replay. Oh, I know. I did have to go back to the beginning because I was at the doctor yesterday, so I came back in late. Oh, grain. Yeah, I would love to know how many he lost. But something that really struck me that I heard him say yesterday was, I think he even said the misogynist word. He said, well, if that's the case, then how come is it that the women that I'm friends with, real friends with, I am the absolute utmost respectful, and they would never say anything different. And I believe him. My question would be, why the fuck do you think that, why is it that you're only, like, do you have an allotment of, from birth to death? Do you think you only have an allotment of a certain number of women that you're allowed to? And I don't get it twisted. I don't mean like Kiki on the phone with off of YouTube. No, I mean just be respectful to. And because most men, I can only use my husband as an example. My husband, there is no circumstance in which my husband would ever in 1 million years speak to any woman the way I have heard him speak to many different women under many different circumstances. That's all. And I am not talking about that girl, because I know there is, there was a friendship there, and now there is a definite not friendship. But it is almost like, how does he deem? Here's what I want to know. How does he deem someone worthy of just basic decency and just a little bit of manners? Like, How do you do that? I mean, if I were going to guess, and I'm not, but if I was going to, I think if we were playing a game and somebody wrote down the handful of women that I can, in my mind, just here on YouTube, I can only point to a few. Chasing, Tracy Ann, Dietz, Cherry, who I believe is that the girlfriend? I mean, I think that's kind of what I sussed out from that. And well, I don't know. I don't know if she is on the list of those he respects. Based on some of the things he said that night, I don't know. I guess everybody's definition of that word is different. And I'm not going to veer into anything having to do with any romantic entanglements, because obviously that complicates things. So take that out of the equation. Glory. It just would never occur to my husband, ever. That's not him. That is not him. That is not who he is. I think that is very much who the glarer is. The old expression, people tell you who they are, believe them. I think he's, by the sounds of it, he's been telling people for years who he is. I'm not even reading anything into the comment that he made about, how did he put it? He was having to, manipulate people. I'm not even putting a lot into that, because I don't know what he meant by that. But truly, it's like, who are these women that so we've got Chasing. Oh, let's not forget Annie. Annie Elise, 10 to Life. Dates on the Street. And this brings up a very interesting question. You know all those people like me that you said, fuck you, unsub. I don't want any of Queen Bee's people. If you support her, you're sub to her. Unsub, do me a favor, unsub to me. Does that include burnt toast? Or is there a caveat to his very childish little tantrum directive? Because I would say burnt toast very much supports, not just is subbed to Queen Bee, and I am not presuming to speak for burnt toast, but I'm just drawing the conclusion that if she, in her own words, pinned and is supporting Queen Bee's legal defense fund, I mean, she has basically put her stamp on it and told everyone, I believe in this, I support this, and here's the link if you would like to as well. And I do believe I heard her say the one and only time in history. Okay, Emmy, I will see you soon. Thank you. So yeah, not only is she subbed to Queen Bee, sounds to me like she very much supports her. So is burnt toast, is she in with all the rest of us? Pieces of shit, Krama losers, or, he didn't say pieces of shit. That's just me, because that's how he talked to all of us. So I'm just wondering, because I'm presuming she's number 4 on a list of 4. Oh, down the rabbit hole news. He speaks highly of her, so that's 5. And if anybody else knows of anyone else, feel free to put that name in the chat. Because yeah, I mean, honestly, that is something I thought of not until today, because I knew I was, oh, SoFlo, yep, we got her. That's Annie. So yeah, there's, I mean, it begs the question. And, you know, please don't misunderstand. I completely, very much understand that there is a difference between, I am not equating having manners and just not being a shitbag. I am not equating manners with respect. They're two different things. And you can certainly have manners without having great respect. That's just being polite. Hey kid. Yes, I believe you are correct. So okay, so if y'all want to, let's see. Oh, we're 2 hours in. If you guys want me to play Deets, I don't know that we're going to play the whole thing. But I'm happy to play it and do commentary on it, because there's definitely things in there that I did not discuss in this. So oh, okay. So Flo, you didn't hear it. Okay, we'll play it. We'll play it a little bit. And Deets has been gracious enough to tell everyone that we are welcome to use any of her content. I am going to put her link in the chat. I'm sure everybody here is subbed already, but just in case you are not, there is Deets' link. And you know what, you guys? There's a point here where Deets gets very emotional. Just abject frustration, it sounded to me, with just all the nasty shit that goes on in this place. And she talks a lot about all the grimy shit that goes on behind the scenes, which just made me absolutely, I'm going to reiterate y'all know my thoughts on Discord. And if you don't, well, you're going to get them. There is nothing. Free shoes would not get me to Discord. There is nothing that would take me. I look at that as, that shit is that's the devil. Hell no. You know what always occurs to me? And listen, I know I'm in the minority, and there's most people are also in Discord. I can't even handle what goes on here. Okay. This is more than I want to deal with and comprehend in front of all of us. When I think about, oh my God, what people do, forget about behind the scenes, right to your face. And gee, well, why wouldn't you want to go to YouTube where all the really like crazy machinations go on? Hell no. Hell no. No. And I do believe, Deets, when, I mean, when I hear that anybody could, Peggy, me either. I don't do any of these Facebook groups. It's YouTube. That's it. That's all. And this is more than I can deal with. Candy Kitten, that's a new name. Well, hi, welcome. Thank you for dropping by, even if you can't stay. Jane says, I think I said hi to Jane. I'm just looking real quickly to see if anybody who's come in while I was talking that I haven't had a chance to say hello to. Crazy Granny, that's a new name. Welcome. Oh, here's a new name. Wait, I need my glasses. This one's harder. Levici? Levici? Levici. Hatfield. Welcome. I'm sorry. I'm not sure how to say it. Okay. I think I'm caught up there. Okay, Kanuga, how you doing? Beverly, how are you? Grain, are you making fried green tomatoes from your own tomato plants? Usually when Grain comes in here, she's taking a break from, probably building a house, fixing a fence. She is very busy doing real world things. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna get this queued up, and I need to go run and go to the bathroom real quick, and I'm gonna nuke my coffee. So we're gonna let this play for just a minute. Oh, wait a minute. Present. Share screen. There's that. Get that.
Not ready to hear those things, then I just don't click in there.
Yeah. And that's the thing is people know when they go over to Morbids, you guys know what you're getting when you go to Morbids. You know you're getting
I'll be right back.
You know what you're getting. You know you're getting a troll. You're getting a troll who's going to give you a show and troll and do all and say raunchy, inappropriate things. You guys know you're getting that with Morbid, right?
Well,
Right.
What's interesting about that is I was just listening. Sorry, I missed a lot because I got a phone call, so I missed a lot what was said before. But what's interesting about that is someone mentioned that it must be exhausting for me to be fake on my channel, basically.
No, hold on.
No,
You missed what I said.
I misinterpreted. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm listening.
Yeah, no. What I said is I was having a conversation with somebody last night after I made my community post where I felt some type of way about you saying you manipulated, you play people, whatever, right? And so I felt some type of way about that. And the person I was talking to was trying to give me a different perspective. And they said, what if who you are, right, is really just like a douchebag asshole, right? So on Morbid, you get to cut loose and be free and do what you want, right? But on your page, because of your following or because of subs or whatever, you have to keep it a little bit more copacetic. That is exhausting. And so giving you that place to just cut loose and be free is absolutely fair.
And here's the interesting part of that. I heard that little clip of what you said about, well, I was actually even there during that portion about manipulation. And I took it as you misspoke and were saying that you're just tired of the
Can we hear it? Because I'm being 100%. I'm being 150% honest. I don't remember saying what you guys are saying. I'm not denying saying it, but I had a lot to drink that night. And
does anybody know who has the clip of it?
Y'all,
so I don't know.
give me.
But
Okay.
I'm just going to pause this.
So that I have better context.
I will be right back.
Myself
I don't want to let it keep running because.
To be fair, that's all.
And Mrs. Peacock, you do. People do have the right to be upset when these men are.
And I think it was early on. There was something I wanted to definitely touch on. And, you know, with my luck, it's going to be right where I'm in the kitchen nuking coffee and I don't hear it. So I'm going to take my shoes off and I'm going to run. Now watch, you want to see something funny? You're going to see me shrink 6 inches. That's so I can run really fast with my coffee. I'm going to nuke this and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. The incredible shrinking woman is now going to grow 6 inches. My God, when I was a kid, that movie with Lily Tomlin, that was one of my all-time favorite movies. The Incredible Shrinking Woman. Okay, here we go.
Are so disrespectful to women and people, period. I agree. That's why I'm saying, like, if you are going to be offended by what people say on a Morbid's channel, I just wouldn't go to his channel at all.
Sometimes
You know what? I wouldn't say don't go at all because he is very funny. And it's obvious that he's very bright. So I wouldn't say don't go at all, but I would say that you will more than likely well, you know, I guess it just depends on your tolerance for you know, everything is couched as comedy, but that, you know, not everybody finds a lot of that funny, but including me. So I wouldn't say don't go, but I don't know how long you'll stay.
I get offended on Morbid's channel, but
Oh, me, I do too. I leave quite a bit because some of the stuff I'm like, no, that's not
like
for
you
me.
can see me on his panel sometimes just going, "Oh my God, dude, what the
Well, then that begs the question, why? Like, I don't understand that. If I don't know. Never mind. We're not going to go there. It's not important.
fuck? Why do I keep doing this to myself?" But the thing is I wouldn't ever. I don't regret 1 second of it ever because Morbid has become one of my dearest and closest friends.
I don't see why one goes with the other. Are you telling me that he can't be one of your dearest, closest friends, while at the same time you regret something you said or did on his show? I mean, am I the only one who doesn't understand that?
In the last year. So, you know, yeah, I realize that he's pushing boundaries. But the thing is I
And you are
enjoy
too.
that.
You both are, yeah.
Totally, totally. And I enjoy doing it. I you know, it's fun. I'm not going to deny it and I'm not going to apologize for it.
I will say that the only negative thing that I would have had to say before anything I said today about the Glarers live streams in the past that I was at any time, is the fact that, and he doesn't deny it, he can be very, very juvenile. And I mean, I get it. Some of it is, I'm not saying that things he, like when reviewing certain people, that things aren't funny, but he just goes, it's too much. It's too over the top with the, you know, the, oh, I mean, he'll even say, oh, I'm such a dick. I'm so immature. Check.
Because sometimes we're just saying things just for the sake of being outlandish, you know?
I agree with Kelsey here. She said that whatever happened in Morbids almost seemed like it was a situation coming to a head. It didn't happen gracefully, not shocking when people are upset. I'm done with all of it personally. I agree. It did feel like there was a lot coming to a head and a lot went down. I
wasn't really sure if Dietz was referring to something coming to a head with the glare in Morbid, or something more general. That was one thing I really wasn't clear about.
There's a chunk
Okay.
I have missed because, you know, he had to delete the end.
I think
I
you
did
did
hear
correct.
clips of those last 2 hours, but not the full last 2
Oh my
hours.
God, he had to cut 2 hours off the end. I thought I heard somewhere that he was P-bombed twice, maybe. I'm not sure about that part. Why 2 hours were shaved off.
Hours.
Yeah, something happened. I don't, I'll let him discuss it if he wants, but something happened on his channel where he had to delete it, but it had nothing to do with me, and it had nothing to do with what I was saying. He was not saying or doing anything as far as editing editing that stream to protect me, that I know of anyway. But I remember I woke up and I was just like, holy crap, I lost a bunch of subs.
But he doesn't care about that.
I noticed a significant difference in my numbers, and
Good
so
thing he
I
doesn't
called
care
up
about
Morbid
that.
because
Those, those are all the shit people anyway. Those are all the, the dumbasses like me that don't matter.
the last thing I remember was talking to him and being on his channel. You know what I mean? So I was like, what the hell happened? What did I say?
Here's all I'm going to say about, I know there's a lot of people talking about, like what would cause someone to not remember. All I'm going to say about any of that is this. Dude, you do you. You're an adult, and it's irrelevant in my life one way or the other, whether you do or do not have some kind of an issue imbibing. Couldn't care less. But my only word of advice is you may perhaps want to consider, if you are having one of those nights when you're indulge away, but you just, and I only say it for this reason. I know you weren't on your channel and you fancy yourself a serious channel and you talk about serious things. And I mean, I know I have absolutely seen some of the cases we've talked about. I've seen some of the family members in the Glarers chat. Kylie Rodney's grandfather was in there the other day. There's been there's been a few. That's just the only one I can think of at the moment. All I would say is, since you do have a channel where you have, you talk about very serious things and you are endeavoring to point out some really grimy, gross behavior, and I still stand behind that 100%. I just think that the two things, they shouldn't mix, because if you want to continue to, I just know that I try and look at it through the lens of, God forbid I ever became the victim of a horrible crime, the likes of which we all talk about on here. And someone suggested that you were a channel who's very much pro for the families, for the, you know, everyone immediately touched by these terrible, tragic situations. I just don't think it's a good look to be calling people a see you next Tuesday and all the other words. And it's not about the words, it's about the behavior. If you are getting so, if you've overindulged to the point where you don't even know what you're doing, I guess my only suggestion would be you might want to consider like just maybe not being live on YouTube when doing that.
Say, what did I do? And then he told me that Queen Bee had gone live and just talked about me. I hadn't heard the live yet. I honestly hadn't planned on listening to it, but he told me that Queen Bee had gone live and whatever. And then
well, it wasn't just Queen Bee. It was many, many, many people were talking about it. It was rather noteworthy.
Addressed things that I said on Morbid's channel. So
Yeah, I listened to, I want to say about half of it because it was pretty long, but I did get through about half of it. Yvette, you're right. Truth is the truth, but opinions and perspectives of a situation are different. You're right. When I was saying that people's, you know, their truth is their truth. The way Nunya, what I meant by that is like the way Nunya looks at that situation is her truth, and the way Glera looks at that situation.
no, that's cool. And
the truth is still the truth.
I have absolutely no issues with Good Nunya, as a matter of fact. I don't know her that well. I don't know her content, if I'm being honest.
Oh, Crazy Nurse, I just want to let you know that I just saw your text, and thank you very much. Noted. We'll talk later.
Well, you went very hard on her.
The shade. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Well, you told her to go fuck her mother.
Did I? Yeah, I tell a lot of people when I get mad to go fuck their mother. Sorry.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that sounded really fucking sincere, too. Yeah, I tell a lot of people to do that when I get mad. Sorry. I mean, to me, either leave off the beginning of the statement or leave off the end of the statement. So either just leave it at, yeah, I tell a lot of people that when I get pissed. Or say, I'm sorry. I think to put both of those together, it kind of negates the latter part of that statement.
We found out yesterday that Tracy Ann does as well, but it was rough to hear. I'm not gonna lie. I was only there for like the last 20 minutes of that situation, and it was rough to hear.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, my bad. Sorry.
Yeah, that sounds really fucking sincere. See, this is why people say you're a condescending douche, because that right there, like, I would have far more respect if he had just been like, yeah, well, it is what it is. But to bother to say, oh yeah, sorry, but then act like you're doing her a favor, it's just gross.
No, you don't. It
I
was,
mean, and that's my thing. To me, I didn't desire an apology because I wasn't offended by that. Others were, but to me, like, I went up there to talk shit, you talk shit, and it was over and done with. So to me, it was like, okay.
Oh, and folks, I think I'm going to rename the title of this episode, and it's going to be titled In Vino Veritas, because in wine, there's truth. And there's a reason that expression has been around, for centuries, I would imagine. You guys, I'm in the other side of YouTube, or StreamYard, in the other window. I cannot see the chat because I don't have my second monitor yet. But I did get my my iPad out, and I'm going to look at the chat while this plays.
Okay, but that's what I came up here for in the beginning. Is I think other people have experiences throughout their life or in general, or they have their own, like you said,
Well,
perspectives and
there's nothing
opinions.
deep about it. There's nothing deep about it. What happens to me, I can
No,
explain.
no. I'm not talking about you.
Oh,
I'm
Flynn
talking about
Kirby. A drunk mouth is a sober mind. Oh my God, I love that. I've never heard that before. How very true.
other people who are making it something that I feel it is not.
Right. I
That's
mean,
what I'm.
I also agree with Nanya on this. We do all have a tendency to do this. I think it's just human nature, but sometimes, there are some people that really are more timid and perhaps need a little bit of moral support to say maybe what they don't feel comfortable saying without a little, bolstering. But that's not the case for Nanya.
I can explain. I mean,
Hi, Okie.
alcohol doesn't really have anything to do with it because, like, I get drunk and I'm happy, whatever.
It's your story. You tell it however you want. But I don't know. You didn't seem real happy, and one thing I do know, I've known a lot of alcoholics in my life, and I am not saying he is an alcoholic by any stretch of the imagination. I don't know the man, but I will say that oftentimes they will first premise their denials of having a problem on all the reasons that it's not a problem. Just saying.
And even if I'm sober and I'm on a panel and this happens, that can happen. So it really doesn't have anything to do with the drinking. I just don't really remember because of the drinking. But
and like I said, no skin off my ass. You do you. But all I'm saying is, as a thinking person and a thoughtful person, which I believe the glare is, I don't know, most people, we've all had those mornings, I would imagine, when we wake up and say, oh my God, what the hell happened here? But I don't know, that's kind of seems like a scary proposition to me. Well, never mind.
But the issue is what happens to me, and this is my own fault. This is absolutely my own fault because I keep doing it to myself, where I'll end up on an open panel, and then when I feel like things are coming at me from all directions, I start going on the offensive, and I'll start telling everybody to go fuck off.
Yeah, either that or you're just a condescending. I think he thinks a whole lot of himself, and that's great. I mean, everybody should have a good self-image, but thinking a lot of yourself and having a healthy ego does not mean being belittling, disrespectful, and disgusting to other people who have committed no sin against you.
You know what I mean? So that happened, and I put myself in that position. That's not anybody else's fault. I'm not trying to blame anybody else. I'm saying, I'm offering a reason rather than an excuse, if that makes sense. It's very.
Right, this is just.
I mean, it kind of, my first instinct when I heard that was like, excuse me, you do realize those are the same thing, right? A reason is an excuse, just a little dressed up. But I actually can make that distinction in my mind. So, okay.
My opinion in that situation, from the little part of the end that I did hear, I really think Morbid should have done you a solid and kicked you off. Like, it was, you were.
I would agree with Deeds.
I think Morbid was probably thinking of my well-being in his own way at the time. His judgment was impaired as well. So
agree with
I think
all
what
that.
he was thinking of was I had things to say and let Will say what he's got to say. I think that was his mindset at the time.
True crime. You said what was said about his subs was directed at the rest of us. That was uncalled for. He wants an echo chamber.
Well, no. I want to be very clear about something because wait, who is this person? Nunya Beeswax is saying.
No. That was True Crime Dime that said
No,
that, and
that.
I love True Crime Dime. She's awesome.
I like True Crime Dime too. Nunya's Beeswax is saying, Glare, you probably lost subs because you told them to unsubscribe from your channel. I did. I actually, that's something I want to be very clear about.
This is the part where I was in my bathroom cleaning, and when he said this, I literally laughed out loud, and I thought, my God. Does anybody, I'm sure many of you are, y'all remember the term spin doctor? I thought, my God, that's that is one way to spin that all around. And I mean, I'm talking spinning like a damn centrifuge.
That was not a drunken, oh my God, impulsive drunken thing. I was actually planning on my next stream.
It still makes me laugh because I don't know whether I believe him or not. It is such a, oh my God, it's just such a spin. Honestly, I do not know whether to believe him or not. I mean, I just don't even know. I mean, I'm still laughing about it because it's Stargazer. I tend to agree. I tend to agree. And listen, there's a lot of people who believe their own. I think I said in a comment somewhere that he has truly drunk his own Kool-Aid. Okay. He thinks he's the Dalai Lama of Krama. I mean, I don't know whether to give him a gold star or to send him to the principal's office because it's like, my God, like, it's either the most arrogant, like, I'm so smart and these people are so dumb that I'm going to tell them I meant to do all this anyway. You did me a favor. Or is he just that clueless? Like, I just don't even know. And I don't know which it is.
Saying the same exact thing. So when Morbid told me that's what happened on the phone yesterday, I was like, oh, cool. All right. Well,
oh, Death Grip. I agree. I don't, and listen, I didn't know before all this happened how many subs he has. As I sit here in this chair, I don't know how many he has now, and I don't care. But yeah, I tend to look at him going on Queen Bee's the same way. You didn't see her going to his panel, and if you really have just contempt for someone, as he apparently does for her, well, then why was he over there? He didn't, and it's been more than once. He didn't have to, I mean, the fact that he allegedly, I mean, I've seen it said by several people that he in fact donated to her legal defense fund, and I would have no problem believing that at all. And I could totally see that. I can absolutely separate him supporting. We all listen. I think no matter what you think of Queen Bee, whether you like her or don't like her, or you love her or hate her, more people see Betty and her ilk for the just blight that they are on the community. The community being the real world community that we all live in, and the YouTube community. So I can see people of every shape, size, and I don't mean that literally. Y'all know what I'm saying. I can see many, many, many people being able to get behind and back and support her defending herself against Skank Cold Betty. But if that's all he was doing, he didn't ever have to come to her panel to do that. So I tend to agree that Death Griffs, that he was, because listen, I think we all know that one real good way to get your channel seen, and I'm not saying he needs this, but I heard it said by someone, I don't remember who it was, but I heard somebody say that one of the best ways to get noticed is you find whoever the biggest person is in the particular part of YouTube you're in, and you start beefing with them, and voila, there you go. So I don't know why, if he had all this disdain and felt like he was so above, all of us peons and assholes in Krama, which, by the way, Will, you, my friend, you are firmly in Krama. And I've really not heard many people say anything to the contrary. So
Saves me from going live and have to talk about it on my live stream. But I was actually totally planning on that because I am growing less and less.
Shit, nonsense. Didn't he stirred it up with you? Nothing major, but I don't know. Where there's smoke, there's fire.
With the Krama thing, with the mix of drama and true crime, I'm growing less and less patient with it, and even my role in it, it's grossing me out. And the reason why Queen Bee was such a focus on that was because her little minions.
Because you've got past beef with her and some of her friends
were in the chat antagonizing me, and so I lashed out at those people in the chat. But
that's not on them. If you can't handle somebody commenting, that's on you.
Who's saying that I can't handle it? I did handle it. I'm saying that I said.
Well, I don't know. I would say your disproportionate reaction is saying you can't handle it. I don't know. I mean, people come in here and say all kinds of shit to me. I've never melted down like you have.
I did exactly then what I was planning on doing myself anyway. I just didn't plan on addressing them directly because they were in chat, because they don't come to my chats. But no,
and I'll tell you what, that's one thing I will say for myself. And I promise you, I don't do this because if I don't like you, I don't like you. And why the hell would I want to spend any of my free time with you? So I know there are lots of people that love to do that. They love to go to, chats of people they don't like and mix it up. I just personally don't do that. So that's why I find it hard to believe that not only, and listen, I've been in Queen Bee's chat many, many, many times, and he's popped in the chat, not gone up on panel, but he'll blow through the chat and make a comment and, leave. So it's strange to me that someone you have nothing but contempt for and, no respect, because we're not worthy of your, well, I won't say respect because that's probably a bit too much, but we're so unworthy of, even if we wanted to give you our support via being a sub, you don't want, but yet you felt the need to come on panel more than once. So yeah, I just see that to me, I don't understand, because I don't do that. I don't, like, you will never see me in his chat again. And not because I hate him or anything like that, but I just, like, if I'm done with you, or I just don't care for you, why, like, I don't want to torture myself. It's bad enough that we have to listen to a lot of these people just to do commentary on them. I'm sure as hell not giving them any of my free time.
I don't regret that at all.
I don't think that the way that you handled that was good, because of, you were clearly highly intoxicated. And because I did hear Whistle Down has a clip of the portion where you went off on Queen Bee, and that's I heard that portion, and I heard, and the ending.
The thing about Queen Bee is
Listen, let me tell you something. I don't give a shit what his thoughts are on Queen Bee, what their past beef is. I'm not taking any of that away from him. I will totally give him that. They got a lot of, there's issues from the past. I'm not taking issue with that or disputing that, but it doesn't change the fact that he just seems to have, I guess, because I don't view, and maybe it's me and I'm old school, but I just don't believe that a man should treat a woman as he treats another man that he's pissed at. And maybe that's me being that. I very well acknowledge that could just be me being old school and out of touch with the current way of thinking. And I'll even give him that. But it's just because you don't care for someone doesn't mean this is not the first time I've heard this behavior. And I just think it's gross.
Hang on. Let me finish here real quick. And I think that it wasn't the appropriate setting because of a lot of the things that you said there. While some of it are your truths, I'm sure
baby girl,
it was the attack on your subs.
Yeah, Mr. He doesn't want the drama, but he's here, there, everywhere, every time you turn around, wanting to be. Yeah,
that's what the previous commenter said. They just felt like you're attacking.
Don't want the drama. Like, you don't go looking for the drama. Kind of like I just said. I can't stand Betty. I don't go to Betty's channel looking to, mix it up with her. No, thank you.
Own subs in that situation.
Oh no, I was attacking the subs that I share with Queen Bee that I'm just not interested in having.
And why is that? Because let me tell you something, you sanctimonious prick. I was never anything but supportive. I've never spoken a negative word about you until today. Never. And now all of a sudden it's like I'm dirt beneath your feet because I'm sub to Queen Bee. I mean, I'm glad I'll go ahead and go with his, assertion that he meant to do all of this. This is what he wanted. Well, congratulations then. It's worked out well for all of us, hasn't it?
If I'm being honest. I mean, I'm not.
Yeah,
I don't regret saying what I said. So, I mean, if that makes me a bad person or a bad creator or whatever, I don't know what to tell you. Right. But I mean, if there's not an appropriate setting, if Morbid's setting is not an appropriate one, I don't know what is.
Well, and that brings me back here to Ben Dreeman's question. Let me ask the hard question then. Why is the community so upset with MGL? She's just as bad. But what I saw in Morbid was way worse. In live, making fun of someone who is challenged on camera. I think
I did not see any of this. I do not know who this person is. Here's what I'm going to say about that. I understand. You know what? Actually, I think they're going to discuss it here. So let me just wait. If not, I'll address it.
I think that the reason you have to ask yourself, Ben Dreeman, who went super hard at MGL, things like that. what MGL did, the trans bashing, the way that she trans bashed and attacked that class was a lot. And I think everybody had a reason to be upset with that, for sure.
Yeah.
110%.
I agree with that. I actually spoke out against
Yeah.
MGL trans bashing. I've never I can't remember a time
I
I've
heard
ever
that was my
defended
own ear.
MGL.
I will.
Much
I'll give
I
him
mean,
that.
but even if people are saying, well, nobody's saying you defended her, but she was called out on it. Even though I don't like
Yeah, she lost her channel
Mallory
over
at
it.
all. I think Mallory's terrible, but you know, you could talk about something other than the fact that she's trans. There's plenty of other things to talk about as
I
far
would
as she
agree
goes
with that.
that you don't have to discuss her being trans. It has nothing to do with anything. So no, I don't know why she's even using that as an analogy or an example.
I was gonna say something here. Here's something very interesting that just occurred to me. Let's see if we can maybe figure this part of this out. Okay, so Morbid, he's, you know, they're in a bromance. All of us scum that are sub to Queen Bee who are not worthy of supporting his channel. Okay. Answer me this. For someone who has been so very vocal about the exploitation of Summer Wells and the people who give Don and Candace a platform to, in essence, all they're doing is just taking away from their daughter's case. They are not helping their daughter's case at all by appearing on any of the channels they go on, because we know how it always ends up. Don is imbibing in something. He catches an attitude. It's fireworks. Candace has done the same thing, etc., etc. He's been a very vocal opponent of all the channels that exploit Summer Wells, and I agree with him on that, and take advantage of Don and Candace in multiple ways. So you want to explain to me how does he square that up on his big moral high horse with Daisy on the farm, who Morbid loves? Now I've heard him say he doesn't support the true crime part, but he'll tell you every chance he gets how wonderful a person she is and how very supportive she has been to him. Great. I don't take issue with that, but Daisy is very much a problem exploiting Summer Wells. She might do it in a more pleasant way. Oh, yes, let's not forget Kylie Rodney, where she did a disgusting, what would we call it? Well, she did a live of Kylie's watery grave, and she took, you know, like some kind of a stylus, like crayon looking thing, you know, just to help people like me who couldn't see what, blessedly, the poor quality was making it more difficult to see, which was the outline of that child's body. Let's not forget that. She took her little stylus and she, you know, outlined things and, you know, manipulated the color and whatnot. So he doesn't have a problem going on a channel that, while I completely understand Morbid's thoughts on Daisy, and I'm not questioning any of that. It's none of my business who Morbid supports. Where I'm taking issue is his wonderful buddy, the Glarer, who's, you know, I mean, do you see what I'm saying here? So why is it okay to associate with someone who very much supports a tragedy pimp, that being Daisy on the farm. Anybody like, so, and I wouldn't be saying any of this if he hadn't just basically told everybody that was sub to him, that was also sub to Queen Bee, that, oh, you're scum. Like, you're not worthy of subbing to my channel, so please unsub, because I am so far superior to all you Krama people. Anybody want to, like, clarify that for me? Because I don't get it. But maybe I'm just, stupid. I don't know. Yeah, not so much. YouTube Duckery, how are you? Well, Ellie, no, it doesn't. Morbid liking Daisy, that doesn't have anything to do with the glare. And I already said, I don't care who Morbid can support anybody he wants. But what I'm saying is, if people are not worthy, he wanted people to unsub merely because they were sub to Queen Bee. Because that's Krama, and he doesn't get down with the Krama. But he's okay getting down with someone who very much supports someone in Krama. So, I mean, why are they not equal is all I'm saying. Like, if it's so gross and he can't have that, even the taint of being sub to Queen Bee associated with his, his channel, why isn't that good all the way around is all I'm saying.
Can I ask what are they talking about though? I mean, I came into the stream fairly late. So somebody was made fun of?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't remember someone being made fun of.
Okay, I can clarify that. So he brought on Wendy, who Morbid's old channel when he was Misery. Wendy was a regular, and Wendy is known because she was known on the Howard Stern show. She was a guest on the Howard Stern show quite a bit. And she was referred to as Wendy the retard back.
Okay, this is so disgusting. Number one, he could have just said Wendy the R, okay? But all right, I can even get over that hurdle with him. So let me get this straight. I'm bringing it back to Krama again. I'm bringing it back. We're circling back to Queen Bee. That, oh no, we can't. He's very above anything that goes on over on Queen Bee's. And if you're sub to her, nope, you don't need to be sub to me. But do we not think that Wendy, and I don't know a thing about Wendy, I've never seen her, I've never heard her. I didn't listen to Howard Stern. I mean, I read his book. I thought I felt about him much like I feel about Morbid. There was a lot of stuff that Howard Stern was absolutely hilarious. I wasn't down with all the like porn stars and the strippers. Like, I didn't care about that. I didn't listen to that stuff. But I'm sorry if you think for 1 minute that putting someone's Cash App up and allowing them to rightly make money off of you exploiting them, I mean, that is what's going on. I guess she's consenting to it because she's of age and she's there. So I'm glad that he did more than most of the tragedy pimps do, and none of the people they exploit typically ever see a benefit from it. So I am very glad that this Wendy was compensated for the pleasure of exploiting her, but it is exploitation, okay? He just allowed her to financially benefit from it, and she should. Why shouldn't she? But I just, it's the hypocrisy that is driving me crazy. Because I see, I mean, to me, these things are they are, I'll say this in the interest of fairness. Let's just say they are every bit as egregious a case that someone could make for something that goes on at Queen Bee's. I don't see anything egregious, but it's just the hypocrisy of it. Oh, damn it.
Hey, Mac, how's it
What did
going?
I just do? Damn it.
That are your truths, I'm sure.
Hold on.
I plan on listening to it, but he told me that Queen Bee had gone live and whatever. And
It
I
was
mean, and that's my thing. To me, I didn't desire an apology because I wasn't
Ange,
offended
Carter.
by that. Others were.
I agree. I thought it was gross. And I would never do it. But that's just me. I just would never do it.
But to me, like, I went up there to talk shit, you talk shit, and it was over and done with. So to me, it was like, okay, but that's what I came up here for in the beginning is I think other people have experiences throughout their life or in general, or they have their own, like you said, perspectives
well,
and
there's
opinions.
nothing deep about it. There's nothing deep about it. What happens to me, I can explain.
No. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about other people.
I think I need to go forward just a bit.
kicked you off. Like it was, you were.
Well, I think Morbid was probably thinking of my well-being in his own from Queen Bee. I have not told anyone to unsub from
Yeah,
Queen
you
Bee.
did. You did.
Well, okay. A mod for Critical K, and I know a lot of people are like, "Well, weren't you a supporter of him?" They have a somewhat of a relationship, and if he comes off as patronizing to her, or you know, it's because she's slow and he has to, you know, speak to her a certain way. But it's kind of hard to tell the difference when Morbid is being genuine and when he's being condescending. And he was not being condescending to her to make fun of her. He was being condescending to her because that's how you have to communicate with her. A supporter of him. They have a,
like, did he really just say, and listen, I didn't hear it, so I can't say whether Morbid was being condescending to her or not. I'll assume that he was not. Does he actually think that you have to be condescending to someone because they don't understand, maybe, you know, speaking as fast as we are? It's like, wow. That is one of the dumber things I've heard him say. He has to be condescending to her. I'm going to assume that he just made a poor choice of wording, because there are many ways to speak to someone who maybe doesn't understand things as easily or as quickly as the rest of us that does not involve being condescending. God.
A somewhat of a relationship, and if he comes off as patronizing to her, or you know, it's because she's slow and he has to, you know, speak to her a certain way. But it's kind of hard to tell the difference when Morbid is being genuine and when he's being condescending. And he was not being condescending to her to make fun of her. He was being condescending to her because that's how you have to communicate with her, because she is
you know what, I'm gonna look up, hold please, I want to look up Google's definition of condescension, because condescending is talking down to someone. You don't have to talk down to someone to help them understand. But I want to get let me get the Google meaning. According to Google, condescending is defined as having or showing a feeling of patronizing superiority. Well, I guess that would blow his theory out of the water. You don't have to speak to someone as you are superior in an effort to help them understand. I mean, I will give him the glare. I will give him the benefit of the doubt that maybe he doesn't fully appreciate the meaning or the definition of condescension, but it doesn't have a positive connotation to it. And you do not have to be condescending to anyone, no matter how impaired their cognitive abilities are. You don't have to be condescending to anyone in an effort to help them understand. You can certainly, I would think it would actually work better to be patient, slower, slow your rate of speech, maybe enunciate better, maybe use simpler vocabulary, etc. So that was just a really dumb thing to say.
She has mental health issues.
So Brianna says,
no, I don't believe that would be a mental health issue. I think that would be a cognitive, I don't even know if that's considered a psychological issue. I think it's just a cognitive functioning issue. Mental health issues, when I hear mental health issues, I think depression, anxiety, etc. So, no.
for me, it's very simple. Queen subs were point blank told to fuck off because he doesn't want us. So I fucked off.
There you go. Maybe don't.
Yeah, fair enough.
Just
cool.
To make it
I mean, I'm not upset about it. That was my doing. That's what I said, and I was going to say it anyway.
Of course you were.
I don't.
I'm telling you, to me. And you know what? Okay, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, and let's just say that he was going to decide that I'm not going to go on Queen Bee's panel anymore, and I'm going to tell everybody that, I'm not Krama, and all you, unworthy Krama people, please unsub from me. The very next day, just like he said. Okay, I'll go along with him. But, I'm sorry. I could actually believe that if you hadn't just really been, obviously this is at least the second time now, been so very concerned with making sure we all knew you were going to do it anyway. Yeah, no, it couldn't be because any of this is to save face. Of course not.
I don't particularly care for Queen Bee.
No,
but
you don't.
My feelings about Queen Bee are nothing.
And I don't have a problem with that. I don't have any problem with him not caring for Queen Bee. She doesn't care for him either. No problem. We're all adults here, and I support everybody's right to not care for or to hate the guts of whoever. That's not a problem. But it's all the other people that you summarily basically just said, well, you all are shit, and I'm a serious. I only want, serious people on my channel, not all you Krama scumbags. I mean, oh God.
Nothing in comparison to the company she keeps. The company that she's kept for a long time and still keeps are the people that I have the most issues with. And I realized that Queen Bee made a very she was very fortunate by making a clean break from what she was doing originally, because she was during the worst time, she was a mod for Critical K. And I know a lot of people are like, well, weren't you a mod for, like, yeah, but I smartened up. And then what happened was I had to take accountability for anything that I ever said. And I had to prove to my community that I was not with the stuff that Critical K does. And I had to show them. Now, Queen Bee got to just bail out of that. Any receipts of the things that she was saying in her chat, the things that she was approving as a moderator, the things that she was deleting as a moderator, all of that stuff went clean gone once Critical K lost her.
And while I don't know anything about any of that, and even if I take 100% of what he's saying as gospel, well, I think there's a little bitterness there.
Her original channel, and there's no receipts to prove it because the channel's gone. So, I mean, it is what it is. But she never had to even face it. She never even had to deal with it. Maybe a couple people in private, she said, well, I was this way, but now I'm not. And that's cool. With her content, she's not done the dirty shit that she did with Critical K. And that's fine. I'm not calling her out for that. But the company.
And I wonder if he has any proof of any of that. Oh, wait, that's what he meant when he said it's all gone. I mean, listen, I know nothing about any of that, so I'm not going to comment on it because I don't know anything about any of it. But just even if I assume every single thing he is saying is true, do we not think that he feels some type of way about that? And that could perhaps, and yet again, what does that have to do with, I'm sorry, because to me, if somebody's kind enough to sub to me and wants to hear 1 minute of anything I have to say, I'm very grateful for that. I just don't understand, you know, the old baby with the bathwater analogy. I just don't, it just seemed very childish and juvenile to basically tell everybody who's over there to fuck off because you're so superior to her. I mean, not from where I'm sitting, you're not.
That she keeps.
And I'm basing that only on the things we talked about here, not anything from the past that I don't know about.
That she keeps are really, really, I'm just not going to go name calling here, but
can I say something though? As a newer person,
no, you already did all that
I've
last
only
night.
been here about a year, and I'll just be honest. People's history and beef frustrates the shit out of me.
Yeah.
Because number one, most of us don't know the history, right? Also, when I think that people get along and then I find out that there's 5 years, 3 years, 2 years, 10 years of history and beef, it is beyond frustrating me because I personally, if I don't like somebody, you absolutely know that I don't like them. I don't roll with them. I don't talk with them. I don't panel with them. I don't fuck with them at all. And I keep that energy no matter what. There is no greater good that I'm going to stand next to somebody if I don't mess with them.
That's
it's
why
frustrating to watch people because it feels very fake and phony. And I'm just being real for anybody. And this isn't just to you or to Queen or anybody else, right? This is in general. It feels fake and phony to be able to put those things to the side for the greater good in air quotes.
That's something tells me it may not have been for the greater good, but for the singular good. That's just me.
And then turn around and all of a sudden there's this long-standing beef for years on years and years. And then that history is spewed out on everybody else who has no clue what any of you are talking about.
Well, no, you're right. And that's the price I'm going to have to pay is for people to view it that way because of my actions of putting up with people that I don't like for the sake of, you know, the way I looked at it was like, you know, it's not fair to my subs to put them in an awkward position, you know, because we share, you know.
And I think you just should have kept on going with that thought.
Those subs are sub to me and those subs are sub to Queen Bee. And so I just always kept quiet and kind of played the politics aspect of it. And I
Well,
don't.
I got news for you. This place, and I haven't been around 6 years or 10,000 years like you have, and many others have. But I have clearly gotten the memo. This place is all about politics, and you know that. And to say anything else is so disingenuous and such bullshit. Some people just navigate the politics of it. You know, some people are like Betty, they're front row Joes, the idiots that you can throw them a free t-shirt and they'll sit in, 987-degree Florida heat to, wave their little Trump flag because, the real baller, they just stroke a check and be done with it. So, playing politics, it goes all the way up to the, the one who will spend the requisite minimum $100,000 donation to come eat rubber chicken and get a photo op, to the front row Betty. And we all know this. And anyone who doesn't recognize, and I'll even say respect, the fact that the backstories and the tentacles in this place go deep and wide.
I got sick of it. It got gross to me. It got overwhelmingly gross to me after it was already gross, and I kept doing it and doing it, like you just explained.
I don't think I understand his gross factor because I just don't.
I don't like it. I always keep that same energy as you just put it, and in that case, I have not been, and it was grossing me out. And then I got to a point where I was just like, I'm gonna say something about it. I'm just gonna take a clean break and rip.
And quite coincidentally, it's just going to be that morning after you have shown your ass and behaved very badly. It was just a coincidence that it was already scheduled. It was already penciled in. Yeah. Okay. Oh, boy, sometimes even Betty's stupid ass t-shirts are much like the broken clock, right? Twice a day. Like Betty's t-shirt. Silence is also, well, not quite Betty's. How about let's go with Aesop? Silence is golden. Sometimes silence says more than the very voracious assertions to the contrary.
Band-aid off, and I know I'm going to lose subs, and that's okay. I'm not here for the numbers. I'm here for, I've always said this on my channel, I want quality subscribers, not quantity. I have always said that, and I'm keeping that. I'm keeping that.
And that is this right here. That is a Tibetan song bowl. And if you're quite proficient in it, which all I do is bang the stupid thing, that bowl will actually sing a song if you know how to do it, which I don't now and never will. But that is my Tibetan song bowl. And tell me, who's Maria? Maria goes around the house burning this Greek church incense to clear out anything evil. Who's Maria?
And
I think moving forward, again, I think everything is a learning lesson in life to me. And I think moving forward, if you don't mess with somebody, I think it's best to not try and keep it copacetic. Just keep that same energy no matter where you go, no matter what you do.
I agree.
Because this right here, this entire Sunday and today, for me, in my opinion, it's not a good look for anybody.
No,
Oh no,
it wasn't good for
I agree.
anybody.
I agree. I'm not denying that. I mean,
nonsense. All right.
I don't know what else.
They say it's an honor just to be nominated. That's bullshit. We all want to win. Oh, before I had a YouTube channel, I used to think that politics was the most disgusting, filthy business on earth, but thank you.
Do you want me to say about it?
I accept your nomination.
So true crime. I'm still 10 minutes behind. Y'all know me, but she said that's me. I sub Queen Bee, and I'm not leaving her chat because you demand I do so. Sorry that you feel that way, but thanks for being honest, I guess.
Okay, stop.
I
I
right.
am not telling anyone to unsub from Queen Bee. I have not told anyone to unsub
No, you
from
did.
Yeah,
Queen
you
Bee.
did.
Remember.
Did I?
You did.
Well, okay.
You
Well,
did.
I mean,
And you know what? I think had that been anybody else but Dietz and the other 4 women on this platform that he has a modicum of respect for, I think it would have been, I don't think he would have capitulated quite that easily.
if I did, I apologize because maybe I was in the heat of anger. But
Mhm.
I
And strangely enough, I actually believe what he just said there. I do. Because that, of all the times he has said he's sorry, while he's made an excuse, that's not an excuse for what he did, that he didn't do. That is the most sincere he has sounded when saying, I'm sorry. And I think he is sorry that he said that, because I think even in his mind, he knows that just sounds crazy. Like, and that is a super douche move. He can state his case for why he says unsub to him. And, you either accept them or you don't, and you keep it moving. But he knows that saying, if you're sub to me, you need to unsub from her. He knows that makes him look like a total douche. So I do believe he is sorry about that, quite interestingly enough. And it's because it sounded like he meant it. Quite unlike the other times since we've been talking about this did.
I remember saying unsub to me because I don't want those subs. That's all I remember saying, but I don't recall a lot in all fairness. But yeah, I don't I mean, if I came off like I was giving people an ultimatum, I'm the kind of person that's like, I won't have any ultimatums made to me, so fuck you. And I'm going to go the opposite way. And if I said that, I would expect people to go the opposite way as I would. So that's fine. I mean, I'm not here crying about losing subs. I just didn't know what happened exactly. But I planned on losing those subs.
No, God, this is where if he'd have just shut up and not said this part, it would have. This is at least the 3rd time that he has felt the need to drive this point home. Like, even though we all see this for exactly what it was, him showing his ass, he was, by his own admission, shit-faced drunk, blackout drunk, said some things that were outrageous that he shouldn't have said, and for whatever reason can't just say, yeah, that's what I did. It would be so much more believable if he just leaves off this part, where this is at least the 3rd time he says, yeah, but I was planning on doing this anyway. It's so juvenile. I mean, to me, it's the equivalent of getting caught doing something when you're a little kid and you say, but all the other kids were doing it, Mom. And if all the other kids jumped off a bridge, would you do it too, Johnny? I mean, that to me it's the same thing. It's just crazy that he keeps needing to tell us over and over, well, I was going to do it anyway. I was going to do it myself. It was already on the calendar. Blah, 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 blah. Oh, God.
Anyway,
Please.
I was going to bring this up on my own channel.
No,
it just so happened that girl and Good Egg were in Morbid's chat annoying the shit out of me, so I was going to address it. That's when I addressed it. That's when I felt like, all right, fuck this.
And you know what? Having not been there and not knowing any of this, I don't have any trouble at all believing that he was annoyed as shit. That this is his buddy's chat. They're in there having a good old time. And here comes that girl and Good Egg, I think he said, who I don't know anything about. I absolutely have no problem believing that it chapped his ass. And it went down.
Yeah,
really
I'm gonna say what I've been thinking. Blah 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 blah. That's what happened. You know.
Yeah, I mean, I can understand that. Even if I don't agree with it, I can understand it for sure. I think that again, there's a history, right? There's some type of history there, right? And to me, they have they have just as much
Oh,
right to be
Kathy,
there
yeah,
in the
we
chat, chatting without being
went
timed
over
out
that
every 3
earlier in
seconds
class.
or 5 minutes technically. But they have every right to be
I
there
was
giving their
absolutely-
opinions, just like you have every right to be there giving your opinions.
I was absolutely abusing my wrench because that girl and I have history, and I was just being a dick. But I feel justified in being a dick to that girl because
Yeah,
she's a
but don't you always? You seem to always feel justified about being a dick, no matter what the situation is. So why would she be any different? And listen, I totally acknowledge I had to laugh when I think it was Laura who said, were they a couple? Because they act like an old married couple. And I mean, and I'm sure they were not. I do believe that girl is married, happily married, but they do have, I don't have to know them to know that it's to have that much anger and animosity. It typically is born out of hurt. And, I've heard her say they were very close friends. So
liar. So
Okay, well, I
Well,
take offense to that because that is
Yeah.
not my experience with her. And again, your history
not
is
mine
your
either.
history, and
Why
that's
do you
your
take
truth.
offense to
But
me calling
trying to
someone
force
else
that
a
truth onto other people is not right.
Oh, but it's okay for them to do it. I mean, wait, how?
No,
oh God, and here we go to the kindergarten portion of the program. I mean, I guess this is not unique to YouTube, and I've done this myself. We all have, but it's rapidly going down the hill when we get to the place of, yeah, but well, I know you are, but what am I? And I know you did, but I did. But did you see what she did? And well, she said this because I mean, it's like, oh my God.
oh, I said the same thing yesterday. Them trying to force their truth onto me too is wrong.
I'm not trying to force anything
Well,
on you.
hey,
You can
that
either
girl.
take it that way or not. Who cares? I mean, if
Meaning
you
here.
form your own opinion about what I'm saying,
For
who's
your ears,
forcing anything on you? It's not forcing
because we
anything
were
on you
offended
if I
by you,
call
but
someone
because
a
we're
liar
talking
who I
about
happen to know
West
is a
even.
liar. So I don't know what you're offended about.
Well, first of all, I'm not offended by it.
You just
What
said
I'm
you were.
okay. So what I'm trying to say is again,
No.
you're insisting that your experience with a person
See,
is
this is why. This is exactly why. I can't stand this shit.
See, right there. Nadia was nothing but calm and respectful and very even measured tone. And he immediately just starts devaluing what she said. He's condescending to her. He's trying to just belittle or maybe invalidate is a better word. He's just totally invalidating what she's. It's like he can't. What's so irritating is that he literally cannot. I don't mind a good argument between people, but when you are unwilling to concede even the smallest thing, she didn't say one thing that warrants where he's going with this, which is, like I said, it's just invalidating.
It drives me crazy. This is exactly why I don't want those kind of subs, because people love
Those kind of subs. Well, let me tell you something. The good Nanya is exactly the kind of sub you should want. She quite obviously thinks for herself. She's very smart. She's incredibly diplomatic. So exactly what kind of sub are you looking for? Like, what is your gold standard? Because I'm pretty sure that you just dismissed what any of us would love to have for a sub. If you don't just need people telling you how wonderful you are.
Of this drama bullshit. They love to get mad at somebody. They love to have somebody to get mad at and point fingers at and go,
It
"Oh,
seems to me like I don't know. Some people certainly sound like they love to play the victim. I'm so above it all. I'm just so very above it all. Yeah, somebody who is so above it all and is so superior to all of us in every way, right? Apparently, yeah. I really don't understand why. Why did you ever come to Queen Bees? Because the greater good and all that business. You don't have to go on somebody's panel to play nice for the greater good.
offended at you and say that."
But you're not.
How
But wait a
are
second,
you?
Will. You're
But
not
you're not
understanding
listening
what
though.
she's
Like I have,
saying.
Has
She's saying
this is not drama to me. I'm
Right.
I'm understanding what
That's not
you're
how she's
saying
putting it.
and giving my opinion on it. What it sounds like, and I'm just saying, I'm going to be real with you again. What it sounds like is anytime somebody pushes back on your opinions, that you can't handle that, and that's not right. Especially if you're saying you don't want to create an echo chamber.
Hold on.
No,
Your
I'm not trying
history
to.
is your history. It has nothing to do with any of the rest of us.
And
And that
that's
shit is like it's overwhelming. It's frustrating,
that's why
and
I
y'all got to
said-
get the fuck over it. Stay the fuck away from each other.
I've
Y'all are
been
not
over
kids.
it,
You're all
Nanya.
fucking adults.
Wait,
I've
wait,
been
time
over
out,
it.
time out.
I'm
Everybody,
tired of being called a
everybody,
liar.
time out, time out, time out, time out. Let me
That's
speak.
why I said unsub.
Hey,
That's why
everybody, let me speak for 1
solution.
second.
Easy
I
solution.
agree with what Nunya is saying because there's a lot of previous baggage happening here. You guys, everybody is coming into a situation with a bunch of shit from a long time ago, and then all of us who are new or who weren't there for that or weren't around for it and who just don't care about it are left looking at the here and the
Y'all, I've got a little dog down there looking at me like, Mom, I already gave the warning. Now I really mean business. And yeah, he's old and he wants to go out. How long have we been going here? I know it's been a little while. Oh yeah, 3.5 hours. That's as much fun as we've been having. 3.5 hours is entirely too long for me to be talking. So I hope that and let me just say this. I didn't say any of this. I have no I have nothing bad for the glare. I gave my perspective as someone who supported him for a long time, and you know why I'm not anymore. And I don't have any personal animosity for the man. I just did what he told us to do. And I guess there is something to be said for someone saving you the trouble of investing your time or anything else into them, because time is precious and obviously we're not getting any of it back. So and my God, thank all of you for coming in here and hanging out with me. Unlike Glare, please do not unsub if you like what you heard. And I really appreciate I appreciate anybody who's come in here and engaged in any way. even the ones who aren't that nice. But for the most part, most people are very gracious, and I really am. I'm coming, I promise. I'll be right there. I'm very grateful for the support. Is tomorrow Thursday? Yes, tomorrow is Thursday. Tomorrow I have a hair appointment. Oh, thank God. So I will not be here tomorrow, but Friday, no, what's today? God almighty, what is the day of the week? Is this Wednesday? See, this is one thing that totally sucks. Oh no, it's Tuesday. Wednesday's my hair appointment. That's right. Okay, so Thursday, we shall reconvene on Thursday. Thank you so much. I see you. Yeah. And he's not only is he old, he's a little dog, and he's old, and he's a Bichon, and they are not known for their bladder or their brains. So Bob, you don't need to feel some type of way. You know I love you. He's like, bitch, the only type of way I feel right now is I'm getting ready to pee on your floor. So we will reconvene on Thursday where we'll have fun. I don't know what we'll talk about. I'm sure we will. Listen, the YouTube universe will not disappoint us. It will give us something to talk about. There's never a shortage of that. So thank you. Hey, leave it to Beaver. Bye. Thank you so much. I appreciate all of you, and I will see you Thursday.